Good morning, everybody. I was actually super set today, and I was like, all right, I'm actually going to be on 10:30, actually on, game on kind of energy, right? And for those that don't know, I actually have a metric poop ton of hoodies, like a lot of hoodies. And we have like multiple hangers, like those ones that go over the door, and one in the office, one in the game room here, and a huge one in the bedroom. Excuse me. And I went to go dig out one hoodie that was a little under a couple of the others, and yeah, it all just tumbled down and it was a mess. So I've got a hoodie on, and all the hoodies are back in order where they should be. But as I always forget, let me go through as I'm talking. We can switch over to normal camera. So, good morning. Look, the hoodie that caused the damage. This bastard. Um, let's go over to Twitch stuff. Or not, sorry, not Twitch stuff. Blue Sky stuff, right? Boom. I'm so good at remembering this now. Kind of. That looks good. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, excuse me, sorry. All right. Well, so I don't yawn you guys to death as I'm just sitting here. Let's look at some cool stuff, right? Zoop. Zoop. Okay, sorry. No, I was worried this would be an issue. Crap, I've been having computer problems like real bad. Real bad lately. So let me double check if I've got. Okay. I think that's. There've been GPU issues, like really rough graphics issues, among other things. So I know it's mainly been the NVIDIA stuff. But so I've been doing a lot of video editing, trying to get the YouTube stuff together. And one of the problems I've been having is that the software keeps crashing. There's not enough space for it, and all that stuff. That said, I definitely was looking at upgrading a couple little things, just like easy things I can fix and upgrade on the computer. Like I thought I could get away without buying a new hard drive. However, video editing takes up so much space. I did not realize that because you're caching everything. Every little bit is a cached thing. And so the amount of temporary storage it takes up, even the one I'm working on right now is taking up 200 gigabytes of just temporary storage, right? That's not even like, that's just the temporary storage for that file as I'm working on it. But yeah, so that's a whole thing. Hopefully I'll figure something out and get it situated. Um, that said, I turned off like every other background process while I'm streaming today, just in case, because since the graphics and the computer itself were having such a hard time, I was not about to risk it. Like usually like Discord's open in the background, or so is the Epic Launcher or Steam or all these things. I said, not today. Not today. I went through and manually canceled everything out because I was not playing that game, not risking that for any biscuit. I realize I don't have Spotify up, so I was pulling this up real quick. I like how hide this announcement. I don't know who Tate McRae is, and it makes me feel like an old man wanting to see like young blonde pop singer probably, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. Let me look at my let me look at my lo-fi for video games, please. Thank you. Um, I found these guys, by the way. Love them. I think that's what we'll listen to today. Let's go. Let's do Skyrim, but lo-fi beats. Yeah. Or didn't they have? I thought they had big playlists, right? Or we just oh, excuse me. Just start playing. That's fine. Everything's been so borked. I'm like, our sound things working. But anyway, these are bits and hits. These guys have a really cool way, really open way for use case for people like me for streaming and YouTube and stuff like that, for content creation. And so that got me excited because I really like their stuff. And so I'm going to be I like to support these people. That's all. Some of the people I found actually were using a lot of AI stuff, and I did not realize that. And I just can't. I can't vibe with that. But these guys are a group in Sweden, and they make like this adorable pixel art and do these cool things. So I'm on board with them. Also found a whole new thing for music in my backgrounds, but that's a whole other ball game for videos and stuff. But anyway, so we can pop that away. So today we actually have 6 things I realized after I got them all. Some Marvel Rivals stuff and a surprise announcement from Nintendo Direct today. There's multiple things from the Direct. I didn't watch it. I just saw like recaps, and I saw an image, 3 images, or 4 counting the title, of a new announcement for holiday this year. And I love it. I didn't get to watch it yet. I said I'd watch it live on stream then, and I only saw the images. Teasers, I know, right? Like, what could it be? But for now, let's look at Yugo Chola's just random character stuff. It's very like Amazonian energy, but like spacey for some reason. You put like these, or almost rune like from like Thor. So I can see like Norse kind of energy. Okay, so there's a whole page of different character sketches and designs. Cool, cool, cool. What else you got? Yugo. Okay. Okay. I'm intrigued. This looks like April O'Neil, but it's not. She got guns. April, don't shoot. These are cute. These old little fox fellas. As we always talk about, surprise, it's very World of Warcraft influenced energy to start, and then they slowly kind of lean into their own. This is good. What is this? Conan and Hellboy fan art from quite some years ago. Love this already, this Conan. Nice. I like, if we're looking at this, I like this like slight grainy texture to it. It's a little overdone here, I feel like, with this Hellboy, but I really like this. This balance looks really clean. I love elephants. Something about like characters, anthropomorphic like elephants. I don't know why they sell me so much. Like, so many pieces of their shape can be expressive, right? You've got the trunk, or I'm pointing my ears. You've got the trunk, you've got the ears, you've even got like the way the horns can move and stuff like that. Like, or at least the way the horns are shaped, they usually don't move. But they're so extreme in the ways in which that they can express, and they usually, like, this looks so good. Love me a good elephant. This took me a fat second to even know what I was looking, I'm not gonna lie, because this sword is so demanding. I thought this was the head, but that's the head. Itty bitty living space up there. These are cool though. The feet remind me of, this was someone I almost was going, I wanted to look them up actually here. So I had a plan today of just doing figure drawing, but figure painting, right? So I was doing like the drawing, but I wanted to actually paint the figures because that's something I need to get better with, right? Excuse me. And so the whole point of the streams right now are to just chill, right? And I need to get better at what I'm doing. So why not focus on that kind of stuff right now? I did originally honestly think of Dom Murphy though and be like, you know what? I'd like to study his stuff because he's got such fun designs. and the way he makes shapes, right? So obviously this is not a lot. This is just his art station. His Instagram has a metric poop ton of stuff. His Skeletor actually is what I based my Skeletor project off of many years ago. But the way he handles like shape is so impressive, right? I actually don't follow him here on ArtStation. That makes sense. I never used to use ArtStation to this extent. But I thought of him because he actually does he have a link to, no, I didn't mean to click on that. Just his ArtStation in there. Okay. But he just did a thing the other day with hobbits, and I saw the character's feet, and it reminded me because I really like. Look how cute those. I mean, gross looking because that big old toe, right? Not cute in the traditional sense, but like, look at the way he uses color too. There are so much just things, right? There's blues, there's greens, there's oranges, there's yellows, there's reds, even on the hair and the skin. Denoting generally the idea that like it's reflecting here all of these gems and diamonds and stuff like that, and you know, like the stones around, but it also just works. Like he's good. Why is there two pictures here? Am I stupid, guys? What am I looking at between these two? Whoops. Okay, hold on, let me step back. I think he just posted it twice. One is like slightly zoomed in. That's it. You see this one? The outer bounds are slightly cut. And this one is pumped in. That's literally it. Weird. Okay. But like, maybe we do still study a little bit of Dom and just look at how he draws hands and different things like that. I don't know. I love his style. It's almost like 1920s Rubber Hosey at times, the way he handles some of like the legs and the arms. They get really wiggly with some characters. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So this was actually one of the things I was debating doing as a study today. But because his style is kind of all over the place in a good way, I didn't know where to start, honestly. The big old chungus. But anyway, I digress. We don't need to look at all that. So speaking of painting, I saw this and I thought that was pretty fitting, given the context of what I was debating on making today myself, or working on today myself. Just some good painting and a good reminder of the different colors, right? Like, look at these blues, these reds. This is the kind of stuff that I need my brain to wrap around. And I think it'll help if we do some actual studies today, right? And maybe where I can like veg out and zone in and do this, but still talk then, right? Nothing crazy. Just work on some of these kind of paintings. Excuse me. Because we talked about too with when I was picking colors and stuff like that, I feel like my ability to pick colors when it comes to skin tone is lacking. And so this is where I think it could really help. The fact that they used like a rake brush this whole time is interesting. Curious what else these people, I already follow them, so clearly cool stuff. Oh crap, I remember this one from Mongolia. This person did some fun like anime, yeah, the anime vibe stuff. Weird, like very like hyper realistic energy, but also stylized. Yeah, these things are dope. Okay, so I liked these before. Oh, let's watch this. Oh, it's only 10. It's like no time at all. I thought it was gonna be an actual paint through. It's just the different stages. I still love that, but not quite what I was hoping. Honestly, if I could pull up my the hand studies I did last time and just paint those, that actually would be nice, but trying to find the individual images would be a little bit of a pain in the butt, I would assume. Maybe not, though. We'll see. Damn. Way more studies. These are much more like hyper real. The other one that we looked at, the first one, was very painterly in a good way. But this is very smoothed, right? Like even if we zoom in here, yeah, you see the strokes and you look real close. But overall, this is a much more, damn, that tricep looks intense. The stretching of the skin here that happens there, very nice. That's intense. Having shoulder veins that high up, whew, that's a vascular person. All right, well, these are good examples and a good reminder, like I said, of the complete variation in pigmentation of the colors, right? Like super teal, right, on that pack right there. Super, super teal. Like that is a green color almost. And then down here is like legitimate orange and red with a lot of skin color in between. So just utilizing, I guess if we're just thinking ahead, right? Utilizing the base tones of the skin as the traditional peach tan skin color, right? And then the reds and blues for the highlights and shadows, maybe. That seems to be what they do. We'll keep that in mind when we do some of our stuff later today. Because if we look in like the non-extreme areas, they're pretty just neutral color, right? Neutral skin color. Someone tunes in the stream, they're like, that's... Hey, thanks for swinging by from Blue Sky. I always forget to post. So I'm glad I've been trying to remember. So today I actually did remember. But so yeah, so we're just looking over. What we do normally on our streams is look at some cool art first. That's kind of like our warm up, is just looking at cool stuff and recapping things. And so this fella from Mongolia, as usual, we've looked at their stuff before for painterly things. Very, very cool. Good use of colors between. Nice artist herself. What kind of stuff do you do? Ooh, what is this? Daniela. I always try and pronounce the names, and I'm always terrible. Daniela Antunovic. I'm getting better, I like to think. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Okay, hand-drawn and 3D prints. So, fun stories. My girlfriend can attest. I have 2 different 3D printers, 0 of which are set up. I got a resin printer when I had moved back to Illinois after COVID. Holy cow, you have 7. And I hope they're at least set up, because you know what? They don't do much when they're in boxes in the basement. You're not able to print much. But I got in the resin printer and I did a few test prints on my own sculpts, because I'm actually I'm a 3D game artist by trade. Oh, you actually sell them. Dope. That is good then. But so as a 3D artist by trade, I was like, okay, I'll take some of my old sculpts and try and do test prints and do these things. And it was dope. I loved it. But I'm like a sucker for health. And so with resin, I needed like my ventilation stuff all set up and all these things. I wanted it nice and clean, especially since it was in a basement at this other house. And then when we moved, I moved and I didn't set it up like I wanted. And then when we moved to a new house, like a nice big house, here, I was like, all right, we're going to set up the basement with like actual like fume hoods and all these things. The basement is storage, like legitimately just storage and laundry. That's it. Our basement's huge. And I have way too much stuff. Like, my girlfriend does not really add to that. She thinks she does, but like it's 95% just my junk. But because then I even got like a standard like an Ender 3 or whatever too. But yeah, never set him up. Thought it would be really cool as someone who sculpted. That would be fun. Oh, cleaning them. Well, that's why I liked the resin stuff. The resin stuff was nice because the process didn't seem too involved, but it was still involved enough that I wasn't a fan. I think if I had like a setup for it for cleaning, I'd be more okay with it. I don't know. Again, one day I'll have that set up. Next house. This is what I keep saying. But for now, they're just sitting in a box in the basement, being useful to no one. These are adorable. These little like shrine bunny thingies here. I love that. The little bit of storytelling here with this, that like this is clearly some sort of night. Yeah, I feel like it's weird the way 3D printing has come. If we think of like the long form of it so far, that like it really has grown leaps and bounds in such a short period of time, like realistically, commercially. Because I remember back when I lived in Minnesota, my friend had gotten a bunch of it and was starting to get into it, and it was like quote unquote new, right? Like a lot of that stuff was pretty new this years ago. And I feel like in the past like 10 years, it's gone from like 0 to 60 pretty quick in terms of how readily available it is and the different tools available to consumers and stuff. And so I imagine it's one of those things where I'm sure that kind of stuff will get better over time, like for, to speed up cleaning and stuff. But it's still, if you think of it, in its like infancy almost, 3D printing. Again, commercial 3D printing. Yeah, they're cheap as heck, which is why I own multiple, thinking I would use them. Oh well. Oh, I didn't even click when I was looking at this. They made this into Magic the Gathering playmat. Custom playmat they designed. Damn. That's gotta feel cool. Going to a tournament and be like, bam, yeah, my husband painted this for me. Or wife, or wife, sorry, Danielle. My wife painted this for me. Like, that's so cool. But no, I love the environmental storytelling. That it's the idea that like just a bunny night, but then you can tell this world has these bunnies clearly that are part of it with these little shrines. That's cute. Simple. What else do they got? That got me excited for more stuff then. Oh my god. I've talked about so many times on stream. I'm such a sucker for little mice. You get me. I hate like real life mice. Hate it. Hate it. Especially being someone who has a house and has had to deal with mice. But you give me cute little mice. You've sold me. You've sold me 10 times over. And a sucker for pumpkin stuff. So they got me with both. Like, they hit me with the mouse and he's got a little pumpkin. Do the mushroom people? Yeah, there's certain things that like yeah, that's kind of stuff that like that just you just hit, right? Like there's certain things that you're like, this is what I love. I love these things of this. Now, like this little bit of art or these type of characters. Ooh. And cool owls. That's dope. With a third eye. I mean, to be honest, most anthropomorphic things get me. Like in the fantasy realm. They're just, and it's, I love this. He's even got a little vest. Ooh. He's so regal. With these little Eye of Saurons just flying everywhere. I will check out their, oh. Ooh, that is quite a draw this in your style. Holy cow. That it spawned from this. I'm always nervous clicking on other people's stuff on stream. Like that I haven't looked at. I'm like, oh gosh, are there boobies? There are not boobies. It's okay. There's just a trumpeter butt cheek though. That's amazing. I like it. Man, I watch Shark Tank a lot. And seeing these are tattoos, right? it reminded me that I saw the other day they had one, it was Black Dot, the person came on trying to sell. And it was talking about 3D printers. Imagine like almost a 3D printer tattoo station, right? It was like this big device that you would load in the designs. You would put your limb where you need, you know, where you wanted it. And it just would, just like as if you're, you know, getting tattooed, it just is, they said it made dots as fine as human hair. And it went through and did that, and that's how it applied the tattoo to you. Which is dope, but the dude had like the worst business model ever. He had no idea what he was doing. Like, it was one of those ones, if you watch Shark Tank, you know a bad presentation. And this dude had cool idea. Oh, thank you for the follow too, by the way. I still don't have the Twitch notifications set up properly. I thought I did, and it keeps effing up. I'll fix them eventually. But no, like, he had the worst business proposal. Like, he's like, I don't know, we have one, and it cost us $4 million to make. And it's like, wait, what? And he was valuing the company at like $20 million. And I'm like, dude, you haven't even done anything yet. And it's like a neat technology, but that's about it. But no, it made me immediately hate the guy, because he said we have 3 artists signed up right now. They said 3 artists, because at first they asked, oh, do tattoo artists hate you? These are super cool, by the way. I'm going to give this person a follow myself. I really like these weird designs. They said, who's all there making the content then, right? Like, he said, oh, well, we have a catalog then that you can pick and choose, and we'll get like a portion of the profits when people choose a specific design that we've curated, and then the artist themselves gets a portion. And he said, he listed the one guy, he's like, so and so has been a tattoo artist and done this. And I was like, okay, cool, interesting. And then he went, I can't remember the person's name, I could not care less, and you'll hear why in a second. You know, so and so, who is the world's most amazing, wait for it, generative artist. And he proceeds to explain to the sharks what a generative artist is. For those that don't know that are listening, it means a douchebag with a computer that types in a prompt and goes, look, I'm an artist. AI made some art by stealing art from me. That's what a generative artist is. And he said, oh, he uses computers to make the most amazing designs. Wrong. He's an AI artist. They shouldn't have the word artist in their name. They're garbage. But so like immediately that shut me off from this guy, because I'm like, oh no. You're speaking to sharks who probably don't understand the ramifications of that kind of stuff. But as an artist watching, I was like, ugh. And then I'm sure as a tattoo artist, that would make you even more mad. Like, so you're going to use AI art to populate a machine that's going to steal client. Like, again, technology-wise though, dope idea, right? Like, such a cool idea. Like, it seemed very much like Blade Runner type of future or something. Like a weird, like, dystopian future where it's like you go like to a vending machine or something almost, and you just like shove a limb in or something, like a heart rate monitor almost, and you're just like, yep, and you've got a tattoo. Like 100% could see that being a thing in the future. Oh, he was a tattoo artist as well. Yeah, tattoo stuff is, I don't know, man. I used to, obviously, I was trained traditionally. I've hand drawn since I was young. And then going to school, you know, I still did traditional work. Gotcha, you do the web development, SEO, and social media stuff. Hey, it is all a necessary piece of the puzzle. But there's no undo button on human skin. Right? Like, that scares me. There's something stressful about making traditional art already in my mind. It didn't used to stress me out as much, but it does now more, that I have the ability to undo, right? I used to never have the ability to undo, So I feel like it didn't stress me out making the marks on paper. But now that I know what it's like to just be like Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, you know, like never mind, never mind, never mind. It stresses me out more. And so the idea of human skin is frightening. But yeah, the AI art stuff is just it's upsetting, and how Europe has their stuff together and starting to at least try and have, you know, stances against it legally, and in America here we're just like, yeah, man, we're kind of garbage. Ay, ay, ay. But here's a lovely Manon painting. I love this. I did a Manon sketch for one of my Street Fighter contests that I did. Oh my gosh, this is Feng Li Li. We just studied their stuff. I was like, this looks hella familiar. I did a whole stream studying their art style. Yeah, their Manon looks a lot cooler than mine. Did I ever? I don't think I ever posted my Street Fighter art. Did I? No, I never did. I have to actually use this stupid art station myself. I updated mine so I can actually start posting things, but then I never did. So where is? Oh, there's my Manon. Way not as cool. Totally not as cool as theirs, but that's okay. I liked my idea. I thought my idea was cute. I don't get any engagement from ArtStation, which is why I haven't been using it. And honestly, like, I don't get any engagement from Instagram anymore either. Like, I've only gone down in followers lately. Like, Instagram's been a weird... I feel like pre-COVID, I used Instagram and I'd get, like, a bunch of new followers, people commenting, lots of engagement on posts. Like, I don't know, like, where's something that was probably popular? Like, I don't even know, it's 918, right? 918 likes. You know, I'd always err on, like, 40s or 50s and then maybe 150. Too many sex bots. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much at this point. But yeah, ArtStation and Instagram and all these things, especially Instagram, though, the engagement is just plummeted. Like, that one got a decent amount, but like, even like, yeah, I just don't know where to post and what to do anymore, because I refuse to use Twitter because of all the Elon stuff going on. And so then it's like a weird... You tell the sex bots to like your reels and then you block them. That's kind of an ingenious method. It's what's the Anthony Mackie meme from was it Winter Soldier, the TV show, where he's like, he's out of line, but he's right. Like, yeah, that's a wild idea, but I mean, that works. All right, well, since we don't need to look at Feng Li more because we've already looked at them a metric poop ton in the past, let's move on to, what is it, Linked Banner Spark, the game? By Arthur Gorin. Some chef's recipes. Man, food and prop stuff is so fun. I don't really do prop stuff much at all, and I definitely always say I need to start practicing more. They're just so fun to look at. Like, there's something weirdly pleasing to the human eye that, like, we all like food, like, and it's like fun food. But are these for like robots, I'm guessing? Linked Banner Spark, because I see like wires, there's like gears or something in this pizza. Like a little, yeah. Oh, the pretzels are like the wires coming out too. These are fun. Holy cow. I just keep scrolling. How much? There's a lot of stuff. Well, that makes sense. That's a lot of things. I'm intrigued to know what this game is actually now looking at this. What is it? Linked Banner Spark. Linked Banner Spark. Banner of the Spark is what the full... Oh, I just saw this. This just was announced. Wasn't it? Did it? 1.0 and console announcement trailer. It must just have come to console, but it's been on Steam since then. Because I was like, this just went live. I just saw this posted like last week. Okay, okay, which makes sense why they were just posting the art for it. I looked at this and said, wow, this reminds me of Mega Man Legends for some reason, his design and the colors. But then the game itself looks cool. But it's a like more of like a town simulator too. And as much as I love the idea of those things, I feel like the reality is I don't ever play them. Like the action RPG, waves of enemies, that kind of stuff. I'm like, cool. And then it's like, and then you build your town, and I'm like, I'm old. I don't do that much. Like my brain's like, I already have to build my own home. I have to do this and do that in real life. I wanna fight things. No, there are some base building things that I do really, really do enjoy. I played, what was it, Disney's Dreamlight Valley way too much. Way too much. And then one of my best friends actually works on the Hello Kitty Island Adventure game, and that game's doing bonkers well. And he's always super excited to see how well that game's been doing. He does like most of the environment art for it. What else? Ooh. I love a good little fantasy house. What's so fun about like fantasy houses is that like gravity be damned. Reality, like it doesn't need to actually exist. Like it exists because you say it exists. So they can look like whatever the hell they want. These are cool. They're almost like little hobbit holes with like a Rapunzel-esque tower energy kind of thing. Oh, that reminds me. It's a seahorse, but it reminds me of this. What was it? A Snuggly. Did I say ugly? Snuggly. The Snuggly Duckling from Tangled. I don't know why that sign. This seeing the seahorse. Because thinking of the colors, I guess the orange is yellow. The Snuggly Duckling. I love that song so much. That is. I'm a musical fella. I usually can like hear a song once or twice, and I would say like it's locked and loaded for like 65% of the lyrics are already in my head. Cool skill that means nothing, but I really like to sing. I really like musicals. But yeah, the color definitely makes it. I love this. The idea that like different times of day, right? You've got daylight, you've got sunset. Oh, a storm. That's what that is. That it's storming, so that's why it's breaking apart. That's cute. Spooky night and little ghosts. I like it. Oh, but I didn't actually like it. There we go. Would like to see more stuff from this, and as usual, not from the US, because France, we always see so many European countries have such good artists. What is this? The Haunted Object series. So not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of these weird ghosty things, but I love the end. Like this, I love. Shumagorath kind of single eye vibes. And I have way more affinity for the original Game Boy than I do like the other, you know, the Super 8 is what it's supposed to be, and a Polaroid and stuff like that. Oh, the original Game Boy. I never had the OG chunky gray one. My cousin did, and they like shared it because he had a little brother, or he has a little brother, and it was basically the older cousins, but I remember the little one would always try and use it here and there, but like I don't think it even had a backing there for like a battery. And I could have this changed. The very first design didn't even look like they had Link in it. It just looked like different characters. I'm like, you know what? What if we make this a Zelda thing? I respect that. But yeah, no. So he always had that original Game Boy, and I remember always like stopped playing console since PS1. And no, you don't play any games anymore because no time. I feel that it is a suck of time then. Like it's a time sink for sure, that it's hard to find the time. Because I mean, thinking of the Game Boy, like man, when I got my first, was it the Game Boy Pocket? That thing was with me and I played that all the time. Granted, I was like 9, so it was a little different energy, but even to today's time now, it's like, it sucks because when you find a game you do like, it's hard to not want to keep playing it. Like I literally woke up today and after I did a couple of things, my brain went, ooh, I can't wait to play. There's a new game I got. And I'm like, well, shit, I've got other things I need to do, including streaming. I really like all of the stuff that this person's done. These are very fun. The Super Nintendo Final Fantasy is the top for you. Okay. I can agree that the visuals for that, the old JRPGs during the Super Nintendo era, I don't think we've come along graphically, but like there's something about that look that I'm like, that still hits, right? Like you can give me a game today that looks exactly like that and I will be sold. They peaked. They hit their point of like, yep, this is the good stuff. Oh no, 100% no. The gameplay and the storyline for that game was great, but I'm just thinking like visually that always is what hits me now as today's thing, because obviously new games are able to replicate that visual style and always so clean. But yeah, no, the story was dope. It's funny, so like as a kid, so thinking of like, there was a period of time where I started to care about story, right? Because as a kid, when you're little, you don't really keep too much stock in the story of a game. You're just like, let me play the thing. And then I feel like it goes in like a weird like curve for me. So like when I was little, I was pure game, right? Like, ooh, Street Fighter, ooh, Quake, ooh, Mario, right? And then as I got a little older into like earlier, like pre-teeny, I was like, ooh, I care about like when it was like Mario 64, different things like that. Like all of a sudden, obviously like they weren't like in-depth stories, those at all. But like then when I would play a couple like you said, like Final Fantasy and different things like that, like some of the earlier PlayStation ones and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, these stories are bonkers. And then I feel like I devolved again around like, probably like when like 15, 16, I was like, I just want to play things like Call of Duty vibes, right? Like I'm going to play more Halo. I'm going to do shooting things. I don't care about the story. And then like in my 20s, I peaked back up and everything was all about the story. Like I love like The Last of Us and those kind of things came out. And then I dropped back down. And then I've kind of peaked again years ago. And then it's like, it was this weird like ebb and flow of like, sometimes you're just not in the mood for an intense story. And I feel like it's happened over years for me where there's like a few years where I'm like, oh yeah, give me a good story. And then others where I'm like, yeah, let me punch some stuff and have fun. That said, I'm currently in my, I just want to play games mode. Like I don't have a lot of, like, I don't have extended time. It does. Good story keeps you, good story makes you think of the thing after. So this is how I look at it. A good story to a game lasts longer than gameplay, right? Because when you leave it, so this morning, right, I woke up, the game is called The First Berserker Kazan. I was like, man, that gameplay is so smooth. I could not care less about the story. There is a story, but I don't care. It didn't grip me. Don't give a crap. The gameplay is fun, which means I look forward to playing the thing, right? And so I can play it for like 20 minutes and I enjoy that time. Whereas a good story has me thinking about it while I'm not playing it, right? There's a difference in thinking of it because you want to play it versus thinking of it in a more like deeper perspective, right? Like I mentioned Last of Us, right? Like when I wasn't playing The Last of Us, I was reflecting on the world, reflecting on the characters I met, right? And like thinking about the things that were happening even after the fact. Like when you put down a book, right? Like you're still thinking of the things and you look forward to continuing the story, and that's why you vibe with it. Whereas like lately, I'm just like, yeah. I am giving myself a half hour. I want to push some buttons. Like, let me do this. Oh man. Okay, so I left one for the end, and it is Lorcana. Again, this is one that when I see something with Lorcana, I click on it without question. I love Disney. Our house is full of Disney. I've been to Disney basically every year of my life, at least once since I was like 6. I love it. I'm from Chicago for the record, so I mean, it's not like I'm right there in Florida. But Disney is life. And so even the Lorcana trading card game, I haven't played TCGs in a long time. And Lorcana got me back to caring. Yeah, it's Disney World. So I've been at Disney World every year. And I've only been to Disneyland once. My girlfriend wanted to be, she was like, you've been at Disney World. How many times you've never been to California for this? And I was like, all right. So I've been to Disneyland once and Disney World like a billion times. My sister actually just moved back home. Excuse me, because she worked at Disney for 2 different stints and she's back home now. Oh yeah, World is, it's hard to compare because they're both great in their own way, but like Disney World just has so much more. Like it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to say one is like, it's hard to say land is even better from any perspective other than you can get in and out nice and easy. Like, you know what I mean? And it's all consolidated, but like you can spend a couple days in Disneyland. You could spend a week plus in Disney World, right? So different. But yeah, Disney World that is the greatest. And all Disney IP then. Like we've got a whole wall downstairs of Hercules stuff, of like art from different artists and stuff. And like you can't really see, but in the corner there I've got Stephen Thompson. He does a lot of Disney stuff, and I've got like his Atlantis over there. My favorites are the night shows. Oh my gosh, like the shows at Disney World at night. Absolutely. Have you ever been to Mickey's Not So Scary then? The Halloween party. This is a weird little monkey guy. Just looking at this Alex Accorsi's stuff. It's really soft. I don't like how there's like not hard edges on these. Gotcha. Well, the Mickey's Not So Scary, the Halloween party has, let me look it up. One of the coolest. Okay, so one, the the character of Jack is horrifying, right? Absolutely horrifying. However, during Not So Scary, they have one of my favorite shows, period, because they get, it's like the show on the castle. But where are they going to zoom in? Jack comes out. Okay, well, this was the worst video ever. Thank you. Mouse steps didn't help me. Okay. Close look. Is this better? Here we go. So you can see right here, the people are right here. You see, okay, that was a good shot there. You know, imagine this is like a 5'8" person or something. He's 10 feet plus tall. And you barely even see the people the way the stage is lit. Usually you don't see the people. And the head is just an entire screen. The whole head. Okay, well, it's part screen, part not. Like for the way the eyes move and stuff like that. Like it's still animated, but like it is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the coolest parts of their night shows. Maybe they've updated it. Maybe the new one now this one looks physical actually, because the original one was just like a dome, right? Like his head was just a big screen. It looks like they've made it more of an animatronic now, which makes it even cooler. Because you can see the mouth. Yeah, that must be a new one. Holy cow. But yeah, seeing that come out, especially like in front, like seeing something like 10, 11 feet tall in front of the castle like that looks so cool. And he's so lanky. He feels so perfect. And there's also for the night parade, there's the Headless Horseman. Yeah, seeing the real actors with it is always fun. Hold on, let me see. The Headless Horseman comes out on a big black stallion to start the parade, and it's got like all this cool audio happening around you, so you can hear him, like it's his voice kind of moving through the space. But yeah, 100%. If you like the night shows, the Not So Scary is so fun because it's got the really cool parade. It's got that great show up there, but then they also have, it's the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus, sorry. And they have like a whole show on all the other villains they come. And it's just, it is, the shows at that night are so fun. But yeah, like having them mixed with this, with like the puppets and those kind of things, I love. Like one of my favorites is the, what is it? The Finding Nemo musical one. I love that. Like, because it's them with the giant puppets, but it's each character, each person is running around holding their big ol' like animatronic puppet thing or whatever of these fish, these characters. And Mr. Ray is like on a bicycle, the performer and stuff. It's just, I love seeing the two pieces together. Fun fact, in high school, I actually was part of a group that would go through 2 different schools and stuff, and we had like these really nice puppets, like Jim Henson energy almost, like really, like I was surprised at how nice they were. So I have already liked this person before I remember all these things, but I'm glad they're doing more Lorcana. But no, we would go to different schools and functions and perform with these really nice puppets. We put on these huge puppet shows for schools. I had only gotten into it because one of my best friends, he loved doing that. He's like, dude, you need to come. You'd really enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. And so I went and I practiced with them. And I remember, I only think I ended up performing with them like once or twice. But that was neat. Like, it's fun being a character and running around and having a thing. Yeah, so we've looked at this person's stuff before. Still cool. Honestly, not gonna lie, this is more boring, more chill, Lorcana stuff. Not their best, but I still like it. This one is still one of my favorites that they did. The Cheshire Cat. It was just, it's simple as hell, but really good. I didn't catch this, that they did the McDuck Manor. That was a good one. Once they added the locations, I thought that was pretty cool. Little remarks of that. That's cute that they did on those. Those are, like, these always look like kind of wonky. And it's like, yo, is this little? I don't know how people draw that tiny anyway with inks and stuff. But yeah. So the other things that were cool were, so I play Marvel Rivals way too much, and they leaked 2 new skins. So the content I'm actually currently working on for YouTube stuff is doing that kind of stuff, doing lore and designs, breakdowns of game art. And so what I was going to start the channel with now is to do, it's lore and design. So like looking at the comic book, you know, like where it came from, and then what we're looking at now, like what they turned the skin into, how they translated the original designs and stuff like that. And so I've been working on getting a good format for that so I can pump out more in the future. I'm doing, the first one is Invisible Woman as Malice, or Malice inside of Invisible Woman. And yeah, so I'm a sucker for seeing these dope new skin leaks. Like whenever there's a leak of a new skin, I'm like, oh. Because a game that is able to take from Marvel's IP, there's so much. There's just so much stuff to work with. Like this Rune Thor, it's the Rune King. He's arguably one of the most powerful versions that in Thor in the comics. But he's one that, if I recall correctly, is like half exists, half doesn't. Again, I'd have to look into it. Used Blender in college because I wanted a video game designer. Don't have the digital talent. Again, it's one of those things where I don't know if it's talent as much as it is just some people need more time to get good at it, right? And I think that's digital art is something that takes quite a bit of time to wrap your head around, right? And even now today, like that's I have not opened ZBrush. Like let me pull up a couple things. Like last job I did like environment pieces and I built environments and stuff like that in 3D, modeled them, painted them, you know, lit everything. I haven't opened up sculpting in a year or something. Like it's been a long time since I've gone sculpting anything. Like talk about 3D printing, by the way. This is what I wanted to print. This is what I was like, I'm gonna make this really cool He-Man and I'm gonna print this and I'm gonna have it on my desk. I sculpted it, never printed it. Wow. But yeah, this looks very cool. I'm excited for this new skin. I play Thor actually a lot in this game. So having a new skin for Thor is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, they're awesome when printed even. Because, you know, I don't even get to that stage. So yes, I'm sure they're awesome painted. I don't even get to the printing stage. Oh well, I try. But anyway, so the one thing that I had teased in the beginning of the stream. So Nintendo did a direct today, and I didn't watch it, but I saw like a recap of stuff. And one of the things was a new Marvel game from Dotemu. So Dotemu, so I've got right behind me. I'm a fighting game fan, right? So I play a lot of fighting games. I've got fight sticks all over. There's a new thing that referred, not newer, but newer-ish, where it's a leverless. So instead of having like a joystick, you actually have directional buttons, right? So like I have this custom one. Johnny Fraze is the creator, but I took all the art and I put all this stuff together and I built it. Like literally all the stuff. But I used images that then I hand painted other things onto them and tweaked them from Dotemu's Ninja Turtle game. And it is one of my favorite games. Like it is so fun and such a true to like spirit of the original Ninja Turtle games like that I played growing up. I just absolutely, and Dotemu's done nothing but great things. And so I saw the headline that Dotemu was doing the same thing with like a side scroller beat 'em up, like the old X-Men kind of game, which hard to see, but like right there, I have my Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet with X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and the old X-Men beat 'em up, and even up higher, can't see that one, but it's there too. It's above. I have the little one for it because I love that game. But hold on, let me put this back. But yeah, so I want to watch this trailer. So I'm going to keep the volume down pretty low just because I don't know how. Because this goes on YouTube then too. I have all of this stuff. So I don't want to get like weird copyright things. But let's see. It's short. It's short and sweet. So it's nothing crazy. Though it's weirdly not in HD for some reason. All right, here we go. Look at this. Why is the quality so poop though? Like this looks like doo-doo right now. Let's try that again. There we go. Look how clean that looks now. I'm already, like, you literally could have just showed me this and I was like, yep, sold. I don't even know what you're selling me. You didn't even have to tell me this was Dotemu. Didn't even tell me it was a beat 'em up. You show me this energy. This is clearly 90s vibed as hell. And I am, oh, damn. So what I saw was only like 3 screen grabs of the actual like gameplay. I didn't see that they did this whole hand-drawn intro for it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ooh, and they've got, Some of the moves, oh my goodness. So the original, so I used to play the cousin who had, so do you switch between, oh, that's kind of cool. So you switch between Captain Marvel and Nova. It looks like you can switch between. Makes sense as both Nova core characters. Oh my gosh. I wonder if I can look. It's 2025, so it's this year. It's this holiday season. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. Like, this is my jam. But so, let me see right here. There's a swing that Spider-Man does right here. Boop, that kick. What is the old game? Oh yeah, that's the old SNES side scrollers. Everything was a side scroller. Like, there's even, what was the one that I loved? It was like an Alien vs Predator side scroller beat 'em up game. Like, everything had a beat 'em up side scroller thing like that. Like, the 90s for Super Nintendo era were just a gold mine for that. The Contra stuff was great too. Oh, I didn't watch this yet either. I'll watch this later. I don't need to sit here and watch everything. But what was I gonna look up? It is Contra, actually. So sorry. Thinking of Contra, my brain. So growing up in our one, the main house we grew up in, right, had a basement, and the basement was very much tailored towards me, which was great, right? We had like the pool table, we had the computer down there, we had like the big entertainment center with the video games. I back then especially, I used to play guitar all the time, so I had like all my guitars set up with the amps and the pedals and stuff. And I remember in the corner area of the basement, the way where we had the one TV set up, I remember I can fall asleep like this, right? I can fall asleep like this and I'm out. But one of my best friends it was over and we would play games at night. And I remember there was one time, you stay up when you're kids, you stay up to ungodly hours, right? I remember he was over and we were playing Contra, but it was like a PS2 Contra. It was kind of weird. I wasn't a super, like, in the grand scheme of things, it probably wasn't that great of a game looking back, but it was the PS2 Contra. And I genuinely fell asleep while playing it. 100% fell asleep. I apparently kept playing though. Like, people sleepwalk. He woke me up from a weird, like, I was sitting there awake, looking, playing the game, but he woke me because I was asleep. It was so bizarre that apparently I was even commenting on the game and playing with him, but my brain had literally fallen asleep. Like, I was gone. And I did the like, and he's like, wait, what just happened? And I was like, sorry, I fell asleep. He's like, no, you were talking to me and you never stopped playing. What are you talking about? I was like, I don't know. Like, and I found I've done that multiple times in my life where I've had similar instances where I'm asleep. Like, my brain, probably should look into it, but it's fine. But no, during the SNES era, there was a Spider-Man game. There was Maximum Carnage, but there was something else that I can't remember. I think it was just Maximum Carnage, but I thought there was another one. Oh, Separation Anxiety is the other one I was thinking of. Well, either way, his kick. So this kick is super reminiscent to Separation Anxiety. Then, like, he had a very similar move in that, and so oh yeah, this is the jam here. Oh my gosh, these games were so jank. But like, and now look at what we've got that I'm looking at that I get so excited for. Apparently this person doesn't like doing the web moves. It was probably one of those things where, like, you are not as effective doing that. So they're like, nah, gotta win, gotta be effective. Whatever. Trust me when I say that is a nod to the OG one. There's one on the N64 that my friend now played for hours, but I can't remember. Side scroller beat 'em up, you're saying, or a Contra in specifically? Because yeah, there was a side scroll. If you gave me, I'm usually pretty good. If you give me like any, like, was it science fiction? Was it fantasy? Was it more realistic? Was it pure 2D? Or was it actually, could you move a little bit like in 3D space more? Or was it like the lane system like these? So when I think of fantasy and Viking stuff, my brain goes to like either Altered Beast, which didn't have an N64 iteration. So I don't think it'd be that. It was Gauntlet. There was Gauntlet, but that wasn't necessarily side scroller. N64. Gauntlet Legends is what my brain goes to. Is where like you were the Vikings and you'd like it felt like a side scroller was Gauntlet. Like, but it was technically in 3D, but it came from, yep. I told you, I know my games. That is Gauntlet Legends was quite a game. Yeah, this was one that you could sink hours in with a buddy and just go to town. Like, and like, cause you would just, those games were the best with friends because like it wasn't that hard necessarily, but you were just like goofing around, punching people, right? And you were talking, you were doing your things, and then like a boss fight or something, would get a little stressful towards the end. But like it was just good times. Yeah, that was a good game. We actually had Gauntlet arcade cabinet at my arcade that I would go to. Was it this one? Yeah. That's what they had at my arcade. All right. I'll be here. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, so Cosmic Invasion, I'm beyond excited for this. So that's soon. That's not too far away. And I am I was just putting a comment on the side. I cannot be more excited for this. I already see I see oh, I apparently don't know how to use punctuation. Already, comma, I see countless nods and references to the old games. Your team has done nothing but wow me with each title you put out, and I'm sure this will be no different. Will likely buy it on Switch and Steam literally day one. So amazing. Man, I can't get over how clean this is. This intro is so unbelievably good. Talk about something I could have done a study on, just drawing like this, like with these hard edged black lines and stuff. I'm stoked. Okay. Well, all that aside, let me grab my water real quick. Let me swap out my drink. Okay. And now let's get the iPad set up. Seeing as it's gosh knows how long. It is 11:40 and we haven't even drawn yet. Look at us. Talkative and looking at way too much stuff. Okay. Most. I think we're plugged in. Now, again, we've been having issues with the computer. So, moment of truth that the iPad actually. Okay, cool. It actually worked. I was not like. I was nervous, not gonna lie. I've been testing stuff, but like the way the computer's been, it makes me nervous. When your computer's like super haywire, you never know when something's just gonna break on you again. Fortunately, it did not break. Okay, okay. Let's get. Miscellaneous. Okay, yeah. I was like, maybe I can find the hands that I painted before. No. Or that I drew before and I could paint them now. Absolutely not. There are way too many. I have over, what is this? I have almost 1,000 images of hands in this folder. That's a lot, and I'm not going to go through 1,000 to try and find it. I've got a whole one on feet too, I forgot. Weird. Like feet and hands, not to be. I got a whole thing on feet up in here. So let's just go. So again, you guys can't see this because I'm gonna do the nude folder again. But again, one of these days I will go through. I promise. And and make it so we can actually see it. Because like this one here, I'd have to look up YouTube's like rules on stuff. Because some of the nude ones are like, oops, they have underwear, but they're still like on women, especially. It's like a thong. So like the butt cheeks are pretty exposed. Not they are, but I have no clue what YouTube's rules are on like specification, like very specific rules like that. I don't know. All I know is we're not doing it now. But trust me, there's a picture here that I'm looking at. All right, so how has this Spotify playlist been going? The bits and hits. Seems pretty chill. The volume seems okay too, not like overly. Yeah. What is it now? This is Pokemon bits and hits. It looks like it transferred to, or it moved over to, I mean. Cool. Okay, so it's already almost noon. We got 11:45. It's not noon yet. We got all the time in the world. Kind of, not really. But so let's just move on over to just getting some. I'm not going to do any color. Like I'm not going to paint anything just yet. I think I'm just going to crack out a couple just to warm up. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of painty stuff and more lit work to color and paint and get better skin tones. For now, we will not though. I'm just going to get these quick gestural pieces in. As usual, look at the overall shape with the S curve, that the direction the person is facing. Very swoopy. I haven't drawn much lately since I haven't been streaming every day. Nice. I only usually have 1 cup of coffee. That is my in the morning. I have 1 cup and that is it. I used to never have coffee ever. Like I never drank coffee up until COVID. COVID hit and holy crap, my body couldn't function anymore. Like working from home and not having enough human interaction, all these things hit me in a way that like, so I worked out at night and I obviously during COVID, I worked out in my own home, right? I had all of the enough equipment in the apartment at the time that I was in. So it was okay enough, wasn't great workouts. But so that was the thing I looked forward to every day was just my gym session is to work out. And then later they let me actually sign up for our apartment gym so I could still use it, but you had to like sign up and only little bits at a time. Man, this is rusty. Like I said, I haven't drawn much lately, so this is rough. But so I worked out at night though. And so at like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., 2, 3 p.m., I was dead. Like I had no energy by that point. And I take pre-workout when I work out. So it's like when I'm doing heavy lifts. It used to just be when I did heavy lifts. Now I'm old and I need to take pre-workout all the time when I work out because my energy is just gone. But it wasn't until COVID that I was like, man, maybe I look into coffee. I never wanted to drink coffee because I'm that health guy that I'm like, I drink water. Like, you know what I mean? And I eat my salads and I eat my proteins. Like, I'm super basic and boring. But so I looked into it and I started getting like, just like cold brew. Cold brew's expensive though. Oh, you work all night with insomnia. That sounds rough. um, I used to be able to sleep really well. And now as I've gotten older, my body's like, once I hit like 5 hours of sleep, like I can fall asleep fine. It's just the first 2 hours when I fall asleep, I'm gone. Like you can't talk to me, I'm dead. Like, but then after like 3 hours, I can wake up and then I have the hardest time. Like, what am I drawing? This is rough right now. You take supplements and all that. Yeah. I mean, I always joke that like when we go on vacation and stuff, I look like I'm the old man because I have like my big pill box and stuff. Like, and as someone who lifts, I take like creatine and other stuff like that along with the pre-workout. So I've got a lot of stuff I take. It's funny, like everybody like so I'm like beyond boring when it comes to food, and everybody always makes fun of me. But it's funny that even my girlfriend, when we first, I've been with her now for almost 5 years, so a long time, and she didn't quite grasp how nice it was. Young Jeff, I don't know if I've ever seen that one. I just take like my basic general supplements and vitamins and then my lifting supplement stuff. But like she didn't quite grasp. She thought everyone's like, "Man, your diet's so boring this and that." Cuz like I eat the same thing for lunch, I eat the same thing for dinner, and then like once a week I'll change it up, right? Like for like a different meal. Yeah, I don't know what this drawing is. We're just going to wipe this one from existence and start with some these are the warm-ups. They're supposed to look stupid. But it's funny now that she's gotten into the habit over years. Like we have our same proteins for lunch. We have like our like huge salads for dinner, like massive salads, with just chicken and veggies and stuff like that, and a little bit of fruit. And your body gets used to it. Like your body wants to keep it similar, right? The body naturally doesn't want to keep like going crazy. The body wants some sort of structure to its intake, I feel like. And so you get so comfortable when you have your good stuff. So like when we go on vacation, it's adorable that wait, you only eat dinner? Like you don't eat a breakfast or a lunch or a snack? Heresy. I mean, to be fair, I did it for a few years, quite a few years. um the intermittent fasting, where I only had my window of time that I would eat, and I feel like that helped. But I think mainly what I used it for, weird. So you don't, that's, I still like to eat though. Like, even though like I like to eat structured things and eat healthy, I still want to eat. Like, I literally, right in front of me, these are my snacks when I stream. They're Dove dark chocolates. I grabbed 3 of them, these little guys. Those are my snacks as I stream. If we didn't eat, man, like, I'm a healthy person, but I joke that like I'm as healthy as can be so I can eat desserts. Like, I'm that person that like I just, yeah. My mother is a baker, and so we've had nothing but amazing desserts my whole life. I just skip it. I'm never one who, I've never been one to take like quote unquote lunch break, right? What I do is I always go for some, like, usually I would either go to the gym at my old job with my one buddy, a couple buddies, or I go for a walk with another, or I take a nap, depending. But I don't like eating on my lunch breaks. I'm the person who's like, yeah, I'll eat while I'm doing the things. Like, I'm never too busy to not eat. I just don't ever take, I don't like to be like, this is my eating time right now for lunch. Like, even here when I'm at home doing stuff, I'll eat lunch, but I'm usually like reading something or doing something while eating lunch. But yeah, desserts are, I don't know how neither me nor my girlfriend could survive without desserts. I thought I ate a lot of desserts until I met her. And then I was like, damn, apparently I'm a rookie. Oh, see, I literally, I don't care about salty things. Like savory, don't care. Could not care less. Sweet though, game on. That's all I want. I just, you give me savory things, I'm like, I'll wait. I'll wait till there's something sweet. Even my normal food that I eat. So my normal food generally, like my protein is a chocolatey protein, and I put PB2 in it, and then I put bananas in it and vanilla almond milk. So like that is my protein for lunch. Or it's frozen banana, same difference though. And it's a very desserty tasting thing then. And then for dinners, our big salads, it's just chicken, right? Usually basic chicken. I don't do much. It's like a basic table blend with some balsamic stuff. Like there's no, I don't cook anything crazy for my chicken. And then we always have some sort of fruit. And without the fruit, our salads, I'm always like, this is lame. Where are the grapes? Where's the apple? Like, where's the little mandarin orange? Or, like something. Like, I need sweet in everything I eat. I am not someone who likes to cook. I will tell you that. I will cook, but I've grown very lazy, and I don't actually cook because my mother told me to get an instant pot. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. And now that's all I ever want to use because I'm lazy as hell. Like, instant pot for days. All I gotta do is do the prep, throw it in, and walk away. Like, unless it airs out and it drives me crazy and it breaks and I get pissed. But like, generally, Easy as hell. I do all the cooking in our house, which isn't much, but yeah, my mom tried me. She literally gave me her one air fryer. I was like, you should use this for a while and test it out. And I was like, I just didn't. I'd never even tried it. I was like so gung ho with this instant pot that I was like, I don't even care. I've got this instant pot, mom. All I need to do is throw chicken in here, or like I do chicken. Like our big thing we make for like lunches is chicken, rice, and broccoli. Like that's it. It's just like a big mesh of all that. And so it's like I can just throw everything in the pot. I prep it, throw it in there, and then I can clean up and do all this other stuff while it's cooking, and I don't even have to like pay attention. Hell yeah. Don't mind if I do. And then it's nice too, because when I can't, certain days I don't get to cook it because I'll be doing other things at night and stuff, and so I can just have it all prepped. So my girlfriend doesn't actually have to do anything too much. Like she just throws it in. You know, like I've got it all prepped. I've got everything cleaned up, everything already. So she just needs to kind of throw it in, clean the bowl or whatever that I had it in, and then game on. Oh, yeah, could not be the opposite with that. Being a gourmet cook. That sounds nice. My mother does that. My mother, like I said, she's a baker. She's a cook. She's like, she is like, that is her comfort and that's her skill, that she is top notch at that. But, yeah, the idea of taking hours and hours to make food, I don't know. It's just, I respect it, but I just could never do it myself. I mean, I could do it. I have done it when I need to make certain things, but like, especially for like when it's just like for two people, I'm always like, I mean, we just need it to be nice, efficient, and healthy. What is that? I mean, that's definitely what my mother is. She doesn't eat the food all that much even. It's, yeah, she just enjoys making it for other people. If you could pick one thing, like, so if somebody asked, hey, can you make me something? And you don't know anything about this person, right? You know nothing about the person. You don't know what they like, right? What is the first thing you would make them? Like, what's something that's like your go-to that you think like, even if you don't know what their tastes are, they'll like it. They'll like that thing you cook. What's your bread and butter? Ooh, chicken, apple, potato, egg, onion, curry over basmati rice and all the spices to taste. That sounds good. I'd eat that up. You sold me at chicken. I love most chicken dishes. I'm usually game for. I'm not a red meat person, but a good chicken dish. And I love rice and I love apple. Like I just love apples. Like I love that apples can be put in so many things and be delicious in so many ways, right? You can taste apple in like a chicken dish, but you can also taste it in desserts, and they are two different palettes entirely they provide. Both amazing though, you know? And apples are the best. And they're just a great snack. Like you can do no wrong with apples. Or you can just cover them in caramel. But yeah, like yeah, usually in those kind of things you don't necessarily taste the apple directly, but it does just like in more of like a hearty dish, but it just adds something. Yeah, for sure. I can see that. So very different than my just put chicken and rice in a pot and say, here's some broccoli in there too. We're done. Yours sounds a little nicer. So you mentioning curry reminds me. So we, like I said, only like once a week do we really like go out to eat and get something. Generally, maybe twice on the weekends, but like it's usually for either like a lunch or dinner on weekends is our like, okay, that's when we eat something different. Otherwise, we just kind of stick to our, meal preppy stuff and keep at it. But so a couple weeks ago, we were going looking for something to eat. We were near like one of the malls by us, and we couldn't. She didn't have a taste for anything. I didn't really care, and we had found a place called Pita Pit. So there was a pita pit by my college growing up, and it was basically like Subway, but with pitas, right? Pretty basic. Yeah, like that's usually our thing. Like so, that was the rule. My girlfriend's like, once a month, we need to at least have like a nice sit down, right? Like an actual like date nighty energy lunch or dinner on the weekend, at least once a month. But then we usually at least get like quick or something throughout on the weekends too, just for the fact of like something different than our normal, right? But so the pita pit when I went to school was like I said, like a Subway, and it never really filled me up. I was always like, there needs to be more in this. Well, there was a pita pit by the mall that we were near at the time, and I was like, I wonder what that is. Because I thought the pita pit that I knew was gone, right? Like that was years ago, it had closed down, all that kind of stuff, and this was a different area. But so I looked into it, and it looked like more of like Middle Eastern kind of food, and like freshly cooked, it looked like, but it looked still more like, I wouldn't say fast foody, but more akin to like Panera energy, right? Like a little quicker energy to that. And I was like, well, I mean, maybe we try this and see how good it is. Holy crap. It was really good. It wasn't that like, it was like, I think like 12, $15 a plate. And it was, like I said, like a Panera energy where it's like you just kind of sit, you order, you sit down, they bring you your food, and that's it. Like it's nothing crazy. But I was pleasantly surprised for obviously like more of like a chainy type place for they had like the chicken shawarma and stuff like that. That was all super yummy and a hearty amount of food too. Like that's my thing when I was talking about the other one where I was like, man, I was always left hungry. Where this, I didn't even. We both got a plate. I ate half and she ate half, and then we put both halves together for a lunch the next day for her, and then like a snack for me even. So it was a lot of food. Oh yeah, the franchise stuff sometimes is always just a mess. Like, yes, you can get some good stuff from franchises, but yeah, I feel like my favorite ones are always more local. Like, like more unique, more smaller, not quite massive chains. Just for any type of food. Like, that said, yeah, that is true. Like local places, there's something to be said about like an 80-20 rule, right? Like I want my thing to at least be 80% the same. But then you're right, with like more local places, it's not as like commercialized where everything needs to be exactly the same. You can tell it's home cooked, like my mother would make. You know what I mean? Where there's variety to it just naturally then. And so 80-20 in that, like, it's 80% what I want to eat. It's the exact same taste that I want, that I'm picturing from the last time I ordered. But there's that slight variation of it being home cooked feel, that makes it feel so much better. Because yeah, you go to Panera, that salad's going to taste the same every time you go. That soup is going to taste the same every time you go. Which there's something to be said about, needing to be consistent. But yeah, having that slight variability in what you're eating, just so much better. Yeah, it's not exciting. That's a good way of putting it. It's just like, well, that gets the job done. It's the same thing. Which again, there's something to be said. Sometimes you do just want your same thing, right? There is like some nature to the comfort of it. But then if you only eat out once a week, I want it to be different and exciting. Cause like we go to Poke Bros a lot because we just it's like basic Poke Bowls. And it's good that they're consistent when we really just are hungry and we want a good basic thing, right? Like we just want to get the food in. But yeah, when I'm going out to eat, I like when it like a nice sit down or something. I like when it feels like, oh, this is a little different in a good way. This hand looks really dumb. Man, today is a weird day for drawing. I tell you what. This is what happens when you stop drawing and don't draw for a week. And then try and do stuff on stream. Boy. That hand is hideous. What in creation? Whatever. That's fine. We're moving on. When I get annoyed, I move on. Boop. Next. Yeah, I get to a point where I don't even want to undo. I'm like, it's not even worthy of undoing. I just move on. Not worth my time. My little sister is notorious because she had a phrase, and I use it all the time. I gain nothing from this. And that's kind of how I try and view things. I'm like, I'm gaining nothing from this. Move on. She unfortunately did it in kind of a bitchy context, but it's fine. I've adopted it in a more playful context. Speaking of baking and cooking, we normally watch different baking and those kind of shows, right? Like we joke that we don't know how to bake, but we've seen so many, we can at least recognize things like, oh, it's like this. They clearly didn't put enough sugar in, or they didn't do this. You know what I mean? Like we've seen enough of them to know, not enough to make anything ourselves. I'm fully aware that we know nothing. But we always love having them back burner shows, right? Like when we don't have as much time, we're like, okay, we only have like half hour before we need to eat dinner and then get going. Let's just put something short and sweet on. And we don't want to pay attention. Yeah, there's something innately enjoyable about just watching it happen though. Like it's just nice. But the one show, normally when we finish one, we try and have another one ready, right? Like, okay, so next time we go to throw it on, we'll watch this or this or this. And sometimes you run out of stuff, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I just clicked on something right away on HBO, I think it was. Because we had finished. What was it? It was like Last Bite Hotel or something. With Titus Andromedon as the host, which is pretty cool. But don't feel like trying this one either. The other show we put on was like this just looks funny. This little butt that I started, then I stopped. What was it? It's a bake. I can't remember the name of the show, but it wasn't a traditional show from a game showy perspective, right? Like a lot of them are like direct competition shows. This one was cool that it was basically a show where we followed people who went to other baking competitions, like regional ones. And so you got to see these people and learn their stories in a different way, a more personal way than as if they were on a TV show and playing a character, right? Or on a set. They were just at their local competitions and we'd see them in their home. They'd have some film crew there and like watch what they did to prepare and stuff like that. And there's something really cool about that I feel like a lot of the baking things now feel so televised, right? Very televised, very structured content, which obviously there's something to be said about how that is nice. But there's also something really nice about the genuine nature of just seeing these people in their home and getting excited about what they're thinking of doing for this local baking competition and stuff like that. And some of them were like big local things, not saying it was like small things, but it was just neat to see that kind of stuff in a different perspective for once, because I feel like so often it's big game show, big host, you've got a time limit, you've got this, and no, it's just fun to see them naturally and enjoying the process and in a home setting. It just, I don't know, it was definitely a breath of fresh air. The fairs have a lot of cooking competitions. They're fun. You can eat what they make right there. Yeah, I know. That's what we always joke about when they like at the big like the TV show ones, when they make like this crazy dessert and do all of this. We're like, okay, but who the hell's eating it? I want to eat that. Like they always like take one piece. The judges like, okay, and it's like, yeah. Where's the rest go? Whereas, yeah, we've seen a couple of the things at fairs, and we're like, we need to go one of these times to something like this, and gobble some of these goodies up, because that it feels like they're genuinely enjoyed by all the people there. Yeah. Yeah, we watch baking shows, or then if there's no baking show, we'll end up with like I don't like reality shows. I'm not a reality show person, like traditional reality show, but like I do like a good game show. I mean, I grew up watching Price is Right with my mom, right? Like that was like I grew up watching Price is Right with my mom, and then when I was at my grandma's, we'd watch Jeopardy, right? Like I grew up, I was a game show kid, right? Like, and obviously early 90s and stuff, there was a ton of game shows always on TV. But we're watching one show now called The Floor with Rob Lowe hosting it. It's pretty cool. It's like it's on its third season. We're just watching old season right now. But it's like one of those kind of competition shows where it's like it's just almost like, imagine like a generic board game energy, like where it's like pretty generic enough with a lot of the stuff where they have to like go up and they compete like with like one-on-one duels of who knows what. But it's like sometimes super generic context. Like one of them was fair food and different things like that. And like pictures come up and they have to like quickly like shout what it is they see. And then they keep going like that. And it's like you're taking up a board too. Like the more you win, the more space you take from the other person. And it's interesting. I always like a good game show that you can also like feel more engaged with. Like when I grew up watching Jeopardy, right, with my grandma, I did not know. 13-year-old Britton think he knows half of that stuff on Jeopardy? Nope, not at all. 34-year-old Britton, you think he knows that stuff on Jeopardy? Nope. Like, I don't know all that stuff. I'm a dingus. So having like generic game shows are fun, that it feels like you can be more included in, which makes sense why there are a lot of those more. The greatest game show though is Lego Masters. Lego Masters is and forever will be enshrined in my mind as one of my favorite like game shows, period. Like as a Lego dork myself, like I love Lego, but then having an entire game show, a competition where people are being creative, making these awesome Lego custom designs and doing these things. Oh, I 100% to anybody who likes Lego or any sort of creative endeavor, because some of the stuff they do is so amazing. Like beyond what my mental comprehension of Lego is. Even some of these things, I'm like, holy crap. And so it's got Will Arnett. So if you like a good, like, it's silly too, like it's a comedy in a sense because it's got Will Arnett. He's a comedian if you don't know, and he's super goofy as like the host. And they have sometimes like guest judges in there, but no, it's a lot of fun. And what's really cool is a lot of the earlier contestants actually now work at Lego. Like in doing the show, they ended up getting a job working over there in Sweden, working for Lego now, designing products and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, what a positive game show for them that they get to advertise Lego stuff, right? They get to get normal like viewership and good ratings in general, but then they also are like recruiting. What a mix. Lego, you genius. You sly dog. Yeah, we're currently waiting for the new season because it should be anytime soon. That's one that we'll like. Whatever we're watching, that takes precedence. It's like, nope, Lego Masters, new episodes, new season. Gotta get it in. You hardly watch any TV if it's a sports, if anything, a sports game. I could not tell you a single thing about sports. I mean, I grew up going to the Bulls games, being here in Chicago, and Blackhawks, and I still go to games and stuff like that. Like they're fun, the energy, but like that's one of all the things in the world. That's one thing I'm usually like pretty ignorant on is the happenings of things in sports. Are you more of like a basketball, baseball, football, soccer? I played tennis growing up, so I actually watched a good amount of tennis when I was younger. NFL and baseball. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've got I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where like most everybody in families has like the people who really like sports. So like, I have enough knowledge to talk about it with people. But like when it's like specifics of what like happened in a specific game or something like that, I'm like, I did not watch it. I was drawing. I was at the gym. I was playing a video game. I don't know. My great uncle actually, he loves baseball and he travels with his nephew um every baseball season throughout the US and they hit up all the different stadiums. It's pretty cool. They always have a good time. When I lived in Minnesota, it was nice because that's I could always catch him when he was up there in the summer or whatever. I was like, cool, I'll meet you. Gotcha. You watch it, but it's more so just to have on. I get that. I feel like that's like half of TV for me nowadays. Like I watch TV at night, and that's the only time I'm actively engaged with television. Yeah, he loves it. They love the idea of being able to see every stadium be like it. That's a cool idea. Like it's a part of history too. When all these different stadiums, they have so much. Like I may not be a huge sports person, but I absolutely adore the history and the love and passion that's been in all of these places, right? Like there's so much there. And so having all of that is oh my gosh, what did I do here? Is cool. It would be so cool to see, like, be a part of all of that, you know? But yeah, I just back most of my TV unless it's so usually I'll watch one show a day. That's my thing. If it's with the way our schedules are, if it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll watch a show with my girlfriend. If it's Monday or Wednesdays, I watch it at night after I hang out with my buddies and before I go to bed and like while I'm eating. Like that's I watch one show a day usually is my thing. And so if I have anything else on, like there's some mornings when I get some stuff done in the mornings in the lower level, like on the main level of the house, and I'll like turn on the TV and I put on like a random old cartoon. Like I've had like X-Men Evolution on lately as my like, oh, it's on in the background. Could I tell you what happened lately? Nope, because I don't know. But it was on in the back burner just to have something on. Yeah, I don't know how people are able, like one of my best friends, he is a TV guy. Like he's a content person. Like he goes to the movie theater every week. He's got his like, you know, the movie pass thing, right? Like where he goes all the time. He has the subscription model or whatever for the theater. And watches TV all the time. And he always is consuming that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Like a new like what is it, Stranger Things? When Stranger Things comes out, it's like 10 hours. It's like a long, like the last couple seasons have been bonkers long, right? Him and his wife will just start it right at midnight or whatever, whenever it goes live, right? On Netflix. And they just keep watching it until it's over. 10 hours. They just sit there for 10 hours. I don't know how he can do it. I'm like, I would get butt sores. I would get tired. But again, everyone's got their thing that they love, and he loves that stuff. More power to him. But yeah, that's always bonkers to me when they're able to do that. I'm like, I do not know how you do that, man. But that said, I am looking forward to the new Stranger Things because it should finally be over with this last season. So finally, now that the kids are like late 20s. Yeah, it's a great series. It's a fun one. I am the person though, because I much prefer content that comes drip fed, right? Like I don't like this trend where all the episodes drop at once, right? I hate it. I hate this. I just can't. I can't do it. I don't like it. All of a sudden there's way more spoilers because everything's out right away. I like to be able to try and keep up with it. Yeah, I don't binge watch anything. Like I don't there's very few things in this world that I've binge watched. Period. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I don't think I have. Like that's just not my energy to do. Like if I quote unquote binge watch, it's I make the time to do the thing while doing other things, right? So like I was catching up on Game of Thrones, I remember many years ago, but I did that every day while doing cardio in the basement. So like if it was winter time and I just I'd hop on the elliptical or whatever, and that was my cardio time for the day. I didn't have to do cardio at the gym because I did cardio beforehand. I could just focus on lifting. And I remember I like caught up on Game of Thrones, but that wasn't binge watching. It was I watched a lot, but it was because I made the time to do something else in the process, you know? I'm like, if I watch 2 episodes of something, that's always the joke of like, oh man, like in a row, like, wow, he's hooked. That's the joke. Like, man, Britton's hooked. He watched 2 episodes in one sitting. I'm like, I know. Watch out. I'm crazy. I'm that person though too that takes me like 2 or 3 sittings to watch a movie usually because I just don't care enough. So I've gotten better with that. kind of. Man, what's not better is this arm. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. It's fine. I'm drawing doo-doo today. I think this is the harsh reality of, hey, I should still draw throughout the week because this is garbage fire, whatever's happening here today. Boop. Make him really little. He's dumb. He's on our head. Yeah, it is like you have to do multiple things at once to be efficient. Like, I do miss just having like, hey, I'm enjoying X, Y, or Z, and that's it. Oh, whoopsies! I didn't mean. I was just checking the time on my phone, and I bumped my one of my group chats. And now I'm like, crap, now it looks like I read it, so now I have to at least quickly have some sort of context of response. Okay. I did it. They were talking about toys. But yeah. Simpler times, sometimes. It's just like, there's just too much stimulus. Like, even when I play, like, I told you I was playing that one new game or whatever. I play that new game, but I also had one of my friends does a podcast, right? And so I had his podcast up while I was playing the game. And my brain's like, yeah, I can't just do one thing. You kidding me? Everyone always made fun of me because I always had 2 TVs in my living room. There's just too much, not enough time and too much stuff that is intriguing. So when I'd play games on one TV, I would have a TV show or a movie on the other. There's just a lot of stuff to consume. And in your head, you're like, it's fine, I won't consume it then. But then sometimes you feel left out of conversation. You're curious what it's going to be. It gets spoiled for you on the internet, and then you're like, well, I didn't even get to enjoy it. There's just a lot. Yeah, you talked about Final Fantasy. Like, I miss simpler times where, like, I could just sit there and play an RPG like that. Like, I just can't. I feel like I don't have the mental, like, fortitude anymore of just being able to focus on a singular thing, because my brain's like, yeah, but what if we play that RPG and while we're, you know, maybe grinding out some levels, I also have the TV on and I'm listening to this, or I'm on the phone catching up with so and so, or, you know, like, there's always so much multitasking. You don't get physically tired, but mental exhaustion. Yeah, mental exhaustion's a real thing. Like, it's weird because our brains, we like to think we're like some evolved species, but like our brains we're animals, right? And like our brains weren't wired to handle this amount of stimulus and information and, quite frankly, conversation even. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our bodies were wired to interact like X amount throughout the day and visually see X amount of things. And you know what I mean? Like, what our eyes could see in our purview. And now it's like, yeah, but like, what if you see everything in the world every time you open up your phone, and you're aware of things happening on every place, in every place? There's TV shows, there's movies, there's, you know, all these different things that you're keeping track of. And your brain is just like, yeah, what? Like, it's a lot. Which is kind of why I like my games now that are just like, I'm playing with fun combat, or like I play Marvel Rivals where it's like, I have to focus on that, right? Like, I can't play Marvel Rivals and do something else. It's a competitive game. And so my brain is, no, I'm playing game. And it's nice that my brain can disassociate with all other things, all other silly stimulus and things like that, and just play game, right? Like, I was a kid again, where it's like, yeah, I'm just playing the game. Like, it was intended. Right now you're watching, listening to me working on Blue Sky and Thread social media and video editing. Yeah, yikes. So as someone, so I grew my role in the industry, right? So I went and I got my master's in animation and I learned a ton of software, right? Like obviously my program was geared towards like indie film almost, so I had learned everything, right, from the gamut of animation, right? Like the whole pipeline. And then I went to work with a casino company after I got my master's then. And there I did a lot of art where we did all different types, right? So I did like, I worked in After Effects and I made motion graphics. I did 3D modeling stuff. I did hand-drawn animation things. I did text-based stuff. I did a whole lot of things, right? And then my job after that was working what I wanted to do more, which was 3D work, like just straight up 3D artist, which was great. And I loved being able to do that. Now, after that studio got effed, I've been just doing this kind of stuff here on Twitch and things like this. Fortunately, my girlfriend makes a very healthy living, so I have the luxury of being able to explore these options right now, and I'm very grateful for that. And so what I've been doing is doing this kind of stuff. I went to college but never got a degree. Everything I know is self-taught, but looking back, everything you learned is obsolete now anyway. Yeah, oh my gosh. What you learn in school is minimal in terms of the actual education. It's the way you learn, I think, is what you really learn, which sounds weird. Like, learning how to learn is the skill that you gain, not what you learn, if that makes sense. Because in college, you have to pass these things and do all of this stuff, right? And so you have to learn how you learn. Do you need to remember all of the things you learned? Absolutely not. But the most important thing to me is, did you learn to learn? Because elementary school doesn't teach you that. You have to figure that out on your own. Like, that's not, it's a personal thing. You have to know how you learn. And so it's a weird world now where, yes, college degrees hold weight. But unless you, all that really matters is, did you learn to learn? Can you learn? Can you communicate? Can you put these things, ideas into action, and you know how to translate this stuff? That's all that really matters. But because yeah, I don't really, I originally went to undergrad. Oh yeah, being interested in something is where you do all of your learning then. Like it's hard to learn something you don't have interest in, which is why taking classes in school that, like, I was really tried always to take something I didn't, like things I had to do, and then I would always try and squeeze in something that I liked to do or something I wanted to learn, because it helped balance the scales pretty nicely. That said, I went to school for biology, actually. My goal was to be a surgeon my whole life, an orthopedic surgeon. But that, when all of my friends went to go to med school, I said, hey guys, I'm actually going to go get my master's in animation. And everyone's like, what the F? Including my parents, let me tell you. But no, what I was saying is, now I've been doing this kind of stuff, right? I've been trying to get better at my 2D work. Obviously, as a 3D artist, that's where my skills lie. I'm trying to get back into 2D and enjoy illustration type stuff and do these kind of things. But I also really like communicating and teaching and doing all this stuff too. And so a lot of my streams in the past have been more like educational and that kind of stuff. But I also really I've always loved like filmmaking and stuff. Like, when given the option in high school and college, I always chose to make a film instead. And so, like, you know, with some projects you get some leeway. And so now I was like, you know what I really want to do is, I want to make really good YouTube content. Like I would like to create actual consumable content, not, mindless drivel BS. And so I've been learning now. So I've always worked with Photoshop and After Effects and the Adobe Creative Suite, but Adobe being garbage lately, I've been trying to get away from that. And I've been using now DaVinci Resolve. And that's a whole new beast. So now I'm trying to wrap my head around engagement type filmmaking and editing, as well as learning the software. Okay, you use Canva. I looked at that, and then I looked at DaVinci seemed the best suited for how I like to do stuff, but it's still all a very big learning process, like anything. And that's my thing is I'm learning, but I feel like my computer's been dogging, and NVIDIA, like the graphics have been messing up. Like I said earlier, my GPU's been borked. And so my computer it's hard when the hardware is interfering with your software knowledge, like learning. And it is driving me bonkers because I have a good computer. It's not like this isn't a pretty beefy rig that I've built here. But the graphics card, I think, is my biggest culprit. But yeah, no, I'm definitely trying to get that. It's something weird that like, so I know how to do like motion graphics and those kind of things. Like I said, working in the casino industry, we had a lot of that stuff, obviously. And so I know how to do those things pretty well. And I was like, yeah, that translates. But now that I'm trying to actually do video editing, it's a very different beast. Like it's a whole other skill set. I feel like because you're not keeping attention for that 5-second like graphic or animation you're making, you're trying to have a storytelling flow of information that keeps the viewer engaged and has like ups and downs and actual like balance to it, which I am trying to wrap my head around and get better with. But it's definitely a skill set in its own right that I feel like I underestimated because I have so many other like tertiary skills that kind of fit that. Use CapCut a lot too. These are all software that I've looked at. I've tried right now in my head. I'm like, I'm legit just learning one. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to commit to DaVinci and this is what I'm going to do. Like I feel like it's easier for my head to wrap around a thing if it's a singular thing. I feel like if I try and add too many pieces to the puzzle, I get a little borked. Yeah, but that's the thing then too. So like I tried to get like some new plugins and stuff like that for more of like, so I know how to do like, obviously with animation, I know how to do frame by frame, really, good animation, right? That's what I studied for years. And that is one that like, I feel like that schooling did help because that's something I genuinely love is animation. So I did get pretty good eye and training on that. But I tried to get, what is it, Mr. Alex Tech. He does like plugin stuff for DaVinci. And like everything I watched when I was learning how to use the software, people referenced this creator. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll look into it. And so he's got stuff that basically simplifies the process, like plugins that make it more streamlined, which is great. Because that's my thing. As I've been doing this and learning, I'm like, this is great. I'm getting better. But if I want to do this consistently, I feel like I need to build presets or shortcuts or things like that. And he basically has plugins that help you do that. And I was like, ooh, game on, cool. I can make like nice little presets for different types of animations I want to keep in, different camera, cuts and different things like that. Cool. It is crashing my computer every time now I installed that plugin, his plugin set. Nobody else is really having that issue. And I think it's because my graphics card has just been dying. But it's so annoying that I was like, oh, I used it for a little bit. His plugin just yesterday. I was like, this is great. I can see how this would definitely speed up my workflow. I can keep this preset. I can do this. I can create it this way. You know, like still customized, which was cool. Like I didn't want like that crap where it's like everybody's using these same presets. No, I want a system that allowed me to make my own presets then in a good way and make it, you know, clean and functional. And then the computer just kept dying over and over and over and over again. And it drove me up a wall, and I had to revert like 8 different drivers for NVIDIA. And it's at least somewhat working now. But then I went to go play games with my friends last night, and it immediately crashed the computer on booting up the game. I was like, oh my goodness. Stressful. So it's always rough when you're trying to learn new skills and get better at something, but then there's a hurdle that feels like you have no control over it too. That's what sucks when you're like, I'm getting the hang of this, I'm learning, and then the software or hardware, something completely out of your control, just is like, hey, how about you kiss my butt and take a break now because we're saying so. It's like, fudge. Now I have to, you know, stop my mental process that I'm learning and deal with this. And it's just, see, that's my thing. I'd gotten, like when the Ryzen chips came out, I was all gung ho for that. So that, what was the one I don't remember which one I got, but it was like, what was that build? That was 2017, I think, maybe. Ish. I built that last computer that was with the Ryzen. And but I don't know if you're talking about the GPUs, are you referring to GPU too? Because I've still always just had NVIDIA. But in terms of if you mean chipset like the CPU, yeah, I've had Intel, and then I switched to the Ryzen when it came out, and I loved it. And then when I built this new computer, I was like, oh, well, it needs to kind of be multifunction where it's going to be for editing and for gaming. So I'll go back to my Intel because that's what I know more still, you know? And I've not been a fan of Intel. Okay, but no, I liked the GeForce stuff with NVIDIA, but NVIDIA this year has just killed a lot of their stuff. Their firmware updates have just been, their drivers have just been absolute garbage, and it's caused my system to brick multiple times. Like a soft brick where I have to go into safe mode and completely remove everything from NVIDIA and reinstall rollback drivers and stuff. Like, it's been rough, and I'm not the only person with that, unfortunately. It seems like a pretty consistent issue a lot of people have been having with NVIDIA with all of their updates this past year, like since 2025 started. So it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating. But I talked about earlier, I think what I'm going to do is at least just for the video editing side to at least kind of help a little bit for like the render cache and stuff is I've got 32 gigs of RAM. It's a pretty cheap and easy upgrade right now to get 60, you know, because it's only using two cards. So I can easily upgrade that to be 64. Yeah, I've looked at trying other ones, but I also don't want to spend the money. Like my graphics card was pretty pricey. So I'm not about to like invest more in the moment. I'm trying to like small upgrades are my thing. The graphics card is a newer good one, you know, so it's like I don't want to have to spend at the moment. I just keep hoping that NVIDIA gets their ducks in order and actually fixes things. But that's obviously wishful thinking and completely out of my control. Which, I mean, is a lot of life. So, whatever. So since I've been sitting here noodling this, maybe this is the one I'll actually try and like paint now, since I said I would try and at least put some color to one, since it is getting, what is it? It's already 12:45. So yeah, maybe I'll finish up this upper body, and then I'll say we'll try and do like a quick color study of this fella. Yeah, there's always some sort of compatibility issue. You're right. And it's just a headache. either way. Like this PC was built with all of that kind of stuff in mind, like trying to be very compatible, same stuff, same brand, same everything. And yet sometimes you're just unlucky. Like, cause I've had things where like I'll have the same hardware as a friend and I never have an issue, right? And they'll have nothing but issues. So I don't even like, I really like, I've worked with computers my whole life. My dad has been in IT since I was little. So when I was like very, very little, my first gift was computer parts. And he's like, all right, let's build it. You know what I mean? It's like I learned to build a PC when I was younger. And like, I know how computers work pretty well. And it still boggles my mind how like you can have the same exact hardware running the same operating system, same software, same whatever, yet it's still usually some by the fluke of this tiny difference or this or that, you know, like it's just, they're stressful. My one friend doesn't use like super intensive stuff for computers. And so he just swears by, he's like, I hate playing video games on the computer because there's always so many random issues that come up. Whereas on like Xbox, you just play the game. Yeah, there is definitely luck involved for sure. It just random flukes. But yeah, I can see why people then sometimes for gaming don't even want to deal with PCs because it's like, yeah, but Xbox, when I say power on, it just does the thing. You know, like it may not be as powerful, it may not be as customizable, but it turns on and it does the thing. It does its job, which is play game. I'm on to my last piece of chocolate for today's stream. Always hits the spot. Mm. That said, I also hate I used to have like a portfolio site, but I don't, since I stopped actively looking for gaming jobs this year, I kind of stopped my payments on the domain and stuff. So I do not, as of this moment, really have much of a working website. I think the website still might exist through like the end of the month, I think, or something, but I do not. I'm trying to just focus right now on, I was focusing on Twitch, and then I realized there's no self-promotion here, right? There's no way to get your name out there. It's just straight up like the big people get more views because that's usually what gets pushed. So I was like, all right, I need to focus more on YouTube, which is why I used to, so when I started this year, I streamed every day, Monday through Friday. And I loved it. I really like it. Like, I like to talk. I like to draw. Good stuff, right? Fun stuff. But I feel like I was like, that wasn't like efficient use of my time, unfortunately, right? And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll switch to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, I switched to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And guess what? I still felt I didn't have enough time to do other stuff. Because Monday, Wednesday, Friday meant if I stream, as long as I stream, I get up, I get stuff prepped for the stream, I get my ideas ready for what I want to do. Sometimes when you're done streaming, then I have to like edit thumbnails, post things, do different stuff like that. If I finished a piece of art, I'm like butt blasting it to Reddit and Instagram and these kind of things, right? And Blue Sky. And so I felt like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then I was like, well, I don't end up getting to practice the editing side of stuff that I want to do as much. Because then think of household stuff, right? Like I try, since my girlfriend is the breadwinner now at this point, making the money at the moment, I'm like, well, I do all the laundry. I try and do all the dishes. I still try and do a lot of stuff around the house. Like I said, I do I mean, cooking in in quotes, as I said, it's not the most intensive cooking, but it's still time consuming to prep everything and all that. That like Tuesdays and Thursdays weren't cutting it because then I feel like half of the time Tuesdays was preoccupied with other stuff. And then by the time, or my grandma actually has been having medical stuff. So like Tuesdays, I've been driving down and taking her to appointments and different things. So it's been like a whole mess. And then I switched to, I was like, what if I do it on the flip side? And I just do Tuesdays and Thursdays. And the same thing happened where I was like, it doesn't seem worth it right now. And the first advice I got was actually stream less, right? Focus on other social media and other means of engagement. And I was like, yeah, but I like streaming, right? Like I enjoy the act of doing it. I was getting comfortable with it. But I think that's the reality that like now I switched to now I'm just doing it Thursdays. I'm doing it once a week, right? Just Thursdays. This is the first week that I've switched to just Thursdays because then like Tuesday, I was genuinely able to learn my editing software stuff, right? Because if you don't know a thing that well and you're trying to like start something new, it's really hard to take an hour, right? Or a half hour here and there. It's really hard until you know how to do a thing comfortably. You kind of need a good chunk of time to first devote to it, right? You can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to jump in for an hour. Well, no, because if I'm still grasping the user interface or if I'm still, you know, like these little things, like an hour isn't enough time to get like my teeth in it. And so this way I can spend more time doing that. And so the goal is to hopefully get my YouTube stuff started more, which would then drive more people here to like hang out. And then when we're here, like I said, if you look back at like, so I've got my YouTube Art Academy page, and that is where all of these streams go, right? All these streams are recorded on YouTube. It's technically live on YouTube, but nobody watches that. And a lot of them are a lot more like breakdowns of style or design stuff that I'm doing. And so I like the idea of being able to stream here and then turn this into ideas to make for my Art Academy page and then do actual like art-based content, whereas the base website or base YouTube page will be more video game and art breakdown. And so it's just a lot of things I want to get done, and it's hard when you're trying to like, you've got a lot of coals in the iron, right? And it's hard to focus on one or the other when each thing kind of feeds the other. Takes a long time to do the promotion. Yeah, it really does. And I have a hard time with that. There are automated tools that will auto post, but I manually do Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Yeah, that's my thing is I was looking into that because I was saying last time on stream that like I always forget to post things. And so I feel like once I get the YouTube side going, I need to get like some sort of automated system that helps me do that. But yeah, self-promo is hard. And then like, I like to use Reddit, but like Reddit is not a good self-promo thing because that doesn't turn into follows or any type of viewership. Like I'll post cool art and different things on Reddit. I've been trying to. I made like a legit new Reddit account, which is weird. I've had my one Reddit account for like a billion years, but I was like, I'm going to start a new Reddit just for this kind of stuff. And so I've got like a newbie little Reddit account, but I'll post art and do these things and it'll get upvotes, right? That's cool. But that doesn't turn into anything. They are just that. Like nobody's clicking on my profile to see other pieces, you know? So it's hard because that's something I need to definitely work on. And I don't really like it, but I've been trying. I've been trying to work on it. Oopsies. Did I just... Oh, I'm an idiot. I did the wrong. This goes to overlay. Multiply. There we go. I spend more time liking, commenting, and engaging. We'll do a self-post 3 times a week. Have to get a following, but I know a lot of tricks to get following. I've been trying to do that. Yeah, I've been trying to look at being more engaged in communities. So I've joined like different Discords and different things like that too. If you kept your site, you could get an email list and blah. Yeah. I also have read that too. The idea of like the email stuff is huge. That like everything I've read says email is the most important. Like if you can get someone's email, you have a direct contact to them. You don't have to rely on any sort of platform then. You have a contact method right away. And I think that's something I'll explore once I actually have more content under my belt, because it's pretty easy to reactivate, the website, and I can rebuild it a little bit to be more tailored to that kind of stuff instead of being like a portfolio page like I used to have it. And so it's one of those things where that will very likely be an eventuality if I can get more of the other stuff done. But for now, I need to that's why I've been trying to compartmentalize and focus more on okay, I don't need to promote things right now then. I tried to do that at first and I was like, it was wasted effort because I don't have enough, right? I've just been streaming. I'd rather do that when I actually have 2 different types of content created on YouTube and I actually have some things going so people have an idea more so. If you notice when I comment, I add a thumbnail of art. Then when someone responds, I tell them to go to my site and comment, and we'll let them have a link to their streamers. Oh, that makes sense. Like that type of engagement to get people. %60 of the time, it works every time. I always think, whenever somebody says it works every time, I just always think of that from Anchorman. To all your followers you personally talk to. Yeah, that's what I would like to have eventually. That sounds nice. And obviously you see my followers here on Twitch are minimal. And then when I was getting I felt like there was a good amount of viewership when I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then when I switched to Tuesday, Thursday, I kind of felt like I was starting from scratch. Almost everything was gone. Not many people that used to watch ended up returning for some reason. They didn't like the Tuesday. Yeah, you do this all day. Yeah, that's a lot of work. But so you do the side, so you get to do all of that while then your partner does the other art too. Is that how your stuff works? Or are you talking about your own personal stuff there too? Gotcha. Do you ever go to conventions and stuff like that? Because I have a couple friends who are con people, and they'll set up booths and do that kind of stuff, and they enjoy that quite a bit. Gotcha. You do the other side stuff, like the websites and stuff too. Makes sense. Gotcha. You've only been to one. Yeah, it seems from what I've gathered, it's not hit or miss, I'd say, but definitely if you're talking about a personal way to make contact with people, that seems really cool. Because every time I've been to something, you talk to the person, right? If you see something cool at a booth, you walk up and you talk to them and you learn their story, you get their vibe, you can kind of get a better understanding of who they are as an artist and a person, which I think is so much nicer to be able to connect with people that way. But also, booths I've seen are getting increasingly more and more pricey. Oh, you set trading cards of the artwork with a QR code? That's smart. Yeah, so they don't have to engage right then and there, but they have a means to come back later on the site. Yeah, it's one of those things where like you don't know how much work goes into a thing until you start trying to do the thing and you're like, holy fart. Oh, you've been doing it 22 years? Holy cow. So you've been around the block doing this kind of stuff. That's impressive. Yeah, I mean 22 years technologies themselves from how things are sent, how information's disseminated, how you can promote has changed so many ways. So yeah, 22 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of shifts of how things have been handled. It's weird, the more technology, I feel like the easier things become, but then the harder it becomes at the same time because there's so much more available. So you're fighting against so much more information at the same time. All the hard work pays off. You reach a point where everything will start to snow. That sounds nice. I would hope one day I reach a point like that where yeah, the snowbally effect of like, okay, this all kind of built on top of each other and now it's kind of building its own momentum to an extent. Then you have to hire people. I mean, that seems like a good problem to have though. Like you've gotten so successful, you need more. I feel like that's quite a good problem to run into. As far as problems, as far as problems go, that seems like a good one to have. Yeah, I know I follow quite a few artists who do like who've got their own team, their own everything to it. Like my one buddy runs a podcast for Scotty Young stuff, another artist if you don't know. And like Scotty's got his whole stupid fresh mess where he's got like a small team of people that help get all of his stuff. It's like a little business he's created out of his success, and that seems pretty cool. Oh, so you've just started that specific endeavor now the past 6 months? You were just freelancing before? Freelancing seems stressful with that kind of stuff. Yes, I figure it would be. Any type of freelance stuff is always stressful. Like I feel like that's just the nature of it. Again, that sounds like a good problem to have too much work then by good word of mouth. Everybody just loves me. It's the worst. Seems pretty nice. As an introvert, yeah, I guess that would be a stressful thing in its own way then if that's not your vibes. I as one would imagine being someone who chose, hey, I'd like to start talking to people every day. I like to talk. I'm definitely not too introverted in that sense. Um do I have the oh, I forgot I had that setting on this rush. It was funny, we had a party at my girlfriend's house, or my girlfriend's parents' house, sorry. Her aunts and uncles were in to visit and stuff like that. And they had her mom got a murder mystery game that she wanted us all to do. And it was cute. It was like an Italian murder mystery where everything was like pasta references. The names, like, my name was Marco Roni. Digitally, you can be extroverted, but in real life, more of an introvert. I get that. That's a lot of people nowadays, I feel like, which is good. At least the hope is that, like, the more you get more comfortable digitally being a little more extroverted, you at least don't get uncomfortable, at least in too many like real life situations. But yeah, so we were at this this party that we didn't even know was going to be a murder mystery thing. She told us when we got there that we were going to play this game. She hadn't looked into it. She just bought it at the store and said this will be fun. But it was funny at the end of the night as someone, me, who I love to perform stuff. I used to, like I said, I love musicals. All my friends were theater people. I never got into theater just because I didn't have time when I was younger. Like, strictly, that was the main reason I wanted to. But like, I did sports. I was in the honor society. I did a ton of tutoring stuff. I just never had time for theater. But it was funny that when we were done at the end of the night, because I got into my character, I was, I do my thing. But her family was like, I didn't know we had a theater person here with us, made us feel lame. Like, because there was me like fully acting out every scenario, being so engaged. Like a friggin' dork. My name was Marco Roni. Because, those lovely pasta puns really do it. Getting that macaroni. Man, it has been such an unbelievably gloomy day here. I don't know where you are at, but Chicago has been such weird weather lately. Like, because I've got like a huge window to my left, and it's always like the past couple weeks have been it snowed, it was 80 degrees, there was a tornado warning, there was like it's been everything you can think has been kind of hitting the weather here lately. And I'm kind of over it because it's gloomy as hell right now and it does not it's hard to be like it makes it so sleepy. At least for me, I get hella sleepy when it's gloomy like this. Not a fan. Game was supposed to be 70-mile-per-hour winds, but nothing happened. That's good, at least. Well, hopefully you're not like us, and our fence, our backyard fence, is like quite literally hanging on by a thread. Like 1000%. Our fence, it sways, it moves, it's doing a thing every time we have storms, and I open up the back curtains, like in our kitchenette area. I am like holding my breath, like, please, please, please say our fence is still there. Knock on wood. It has been still there, but that's one of those things where I'm mentally prepared that one of these times it's not going to be. And I'm going to have to like quickly run outside and like get the pieces because I don't want it to like mess up our neighbors or do whatever. Like, sheesh. I'm the person that still goes on walks though. Doesn't matter the weather, the temperature. I'm like a dog. I need my set meal, right? Dogs have the same food always, right? Give me my set meal, give me some playtime, and let me go for my walk outside. Like, minus the sleeping part. I don't know how dogs can sleep like that. Well, no, we actually we have been renting this house now for years. And so it's this weird thing where like we never bought the house. Like we don't own the house. So I have not as much like desire to fix it or replace it. You know what I mean? Like I can't, like it's not mine technically. We've just been renting this for years now. The owner's super nice. He hasn't raised rent. It's in a great area. I love the house. The house is set up so amazing. Like I've done so much work for decorating the house. As you can see, like this is just one of the many rooms that we have fully decked out. Like it is a lot of work in this house. And also we've been like, we don't know where we want to leave to. Like I'm assuming we'll stay here around Chicago, but I got no clue. Like we don't really have any set. We had ideas, we had plans, and then the world changes. You know, like stuff just, you never know what you want to do. So most of our family is here in Illinois, at least. So it makes sense to still be here. I'm not somebody who likes the cold, and I really wanted to live somewhere warmer. That was always my dream, was to be somewhere warmer. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? The cold sucks. The cold is not fun. And as someone who I've got psoriasis and I'm on like all this medication and stuff that keeps it pretty at bay, but like I got pretty bad psoriasis. Like if I actually have like, I have to take a biologic, which is like a very intense medication that like it's an immunosuppressant. So it actually messes with my immune system and blah, 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 blah. But like, so cold weather quite literally destroys my skin more. Like I already have a pretty rough condition where it already is impacted. And then the crappy cold weather just makes it worse. And so it's always a rough one then. Like, so I'm that person who's got like, I've got all my lotions, of all my things, all my creams. I have to bundle up whenever I go outside. I'm always like, not that cold, but I'm gonna wear gloves because my hands are gonna start bleeding if I don't. It's pretty okay. So you know cold up there. You know cold. Washington is not a warm place either. I kind of like rain though. Like rain is like this house. We've got so many sunlights in this house, which is fantastic. And I love when it rains. There's something so calming about rain. But I get it's also dreary out then. Rain usually implies it's a little dreary and gross, so I get that not being the most fun either. I almost moved up there for work along years back. I was interviewing with for an assistant art director position at Bungie. Did not end up getting that job, but I had looked. I was quite a few interviews deep or whatever, and so I was looking into like housing and different things there. It does look nice to live up there though, I will say. I got like in my head, you know how you kind of convince yourself of like, yeah, this will be pretty cool. The other day, I went on a as I go for my walks always, and I had called my grandmother to talk to her and see how she was doing and just check in. Like I said, I always call my grandma. Like she's one I always talk to on the phone, but like especially now with the medical stuff she's been going through, I always want to be doubly keeping up and making sure she's doing okay. But so I went and was talking to her on the phone, and I was like, "Oh yeah." I tried to time it so I was looking at the Weather Channel and the walk was going to be okay. You know, like this is the window of time that wouldn't be too rainy, too anything. You know what I mean? Like I'll be fine. And she's like, "Are you sure?" Because she lives like a half hour south of me. So far enough that the weather can be slightly different, but not like, probably not that different for long, right? Like it'll probably make its way to me or to her, vice versa, you know? And she's like, "I don't know. Looks like it's supposed to rain again in just a little bit." And I was like, "No, it said it was going to rain at like 5 or whatever." I was like, "No, I looked. I've been monitoring the radar. This is my best window to go for a walk. Like, this is the time." She's like, "All right." So we were talking, and like 5 minutes, 10 minutes into my walk, I'm like, F. Starting to drizzle. And I was like, hopefully it's just like that, like, you know, little drizzle between rains, like nothing major. I was like, it's fine, it's fine. And then it started hailing a little bit, like baby hail though, like just that real little balls. And I was like, okay, honestly, the tiny hail in my mind is better than rain, like because tiny hail doesn't hurt. You know, you don't even really feel it, and it's not getting you as wet as rain. So I was like, that's fine. Actually, I'm okay with this. Earlier, it's worth noting the sky was like green. When I woke up that morning, the sky was green. There was tornado alerts and stuff. It was pretty gross out. And so I'm walking still, and she's like, "I don't know, Britton. It looks like the hail's getting pretty bad here." And I was like, "Well, I've got like a half hour left. Half hour left before I'm probably home. I'm sure it'll hold out for here." I was maybe like 20 minutes from the house when the sky literally just turned black, like straight up black. Like it just immediately, keep in mind, this is like 4 p.m., right? Like it's not like it was like, and this was recent. So 4 p.m., you know, after we've swapped the clocks for daylight savings time too. So like 4 p.m. shouldn't be that dark. It turned black, and I looked up at the sky, and you could hear just that, like, you know, when there's like that shift in the weather, and you're like, oh crap. And I was like, "Grandma, I'm gonna get off the phone," like, because I just had my headphones on, but still, I was like, I need to, like, I'm about to sprint home. I immediately was like, I need to go. I hung up with her and just booked it home. Like, luckily, I have extremely good cardiovascular health, and the only problem with running is I actually have some injuries that flare up and my knee locks up when I run too long. But like if it's just for a quick stint like that, I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna sprint. I got this. Let me just head home. I just booked it home, just completely sprinting all the way. I rounded the corner to our street then, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna slow down. I think I'm fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could see the house. So I was like, okay, I'm in the clear. This is fine now. And as I'm like, just like, you know, speed walking now at this point only to the house, I hear behind me just like the heaviest of hail, just making so much impact. Like you can just hear it coming. Like, I was like, oh, F. And I immediately cranked back to 11, sprinted to our house, ran up the stairs. As I was going up my staircase, you hear just like the torrential fall of like, and I was like, F, and I was worried my whole sprint I had like lost my key or something because it was just in my pocket. Normally, like if I'd go for like an actual run, I put my key in a more secure spot, like a zippered thing, or I tie it in my shoelaces. But I just booked it up the stairs, and I felt it like hit the back of my legs as I was going up the stairs. I immediately, luckily, had the key still in my pocket. It didn't fall out. I unlocked the door, jumped inside, and you just heard like like the loudest hail. It was like massive, like quarter-sized hail, not like golf ball, but I mean like pretty big hail just pelted down, and the sky was pitch black then again, like still pitch black, hail everywhere. You could like, it was that, when the hail is so loud, it's like hard to hear yourself think. It was that kind of hail where it was just all encompassing noise of hail. And I was like, holy F, I cannot believe I made that in time. Like, absolutely amazing that I timed that in such a way that I made it. That was something. That was a day, all right. I, of course, texted my grandma. I was like, I'm home. Don't worry. I'm safe. Because she was worried. She's like, let me know when you get home. But yeah, that was rough. That was rough. I'm no stranger to like I like going. I used to go for runs and stuff in the rain. I like it. It's soothing. Yeah, I definitely did luck out. That timing was beyond lucky. But it's different, yeah, when there's a difference in it's raining versus the sky is black. All right, I'll still be here. But yeah, when the sky is black, it's a very different energy than if it's just rain. Black skies or green skies kind of are frightening. What time is it? It is 1:30. I'm going to take just a momentary break myself, actually, and be right back. I'm going to do my normal thing where I'm going to be the little kid and say, time me. Time me. And then I get stuck on the ground right here. Time me. I'll be right back. Back. I did it. Was I the fastest? Was I the fastest person ever? Did I do it? Oy, oy, oy. Okay, sorry. Was checking a thing or two. So again, this stream for the art itself is not like the most exciting. I get that. which is fine. I've been chatting quite a bit, which works because I didn't really have a super game plan. I just kind of wanted to paint and draw a little bit randomly. I'll get back to some more like tailored stuff soon. I tried to find stuff to study directly, but like I said, I wasn't vibing with much. So I figured gesture drawing and stuff like that would work, and working on these skin tones. Because as I'm even doing this here, I don't like this skin color. Just feels weird. So, gonna have to learn to get better. Don't mind me, I'm just taking a snack break. I woke up today, like, starving. You know how some mornings you wake up and it's no big deal? And then some mornings you wake up and you're like, my stomach is eating itself. It was that kind of morning. So I immediately ate when I woke up. But then I was like, crap. Streaming's going to be weird because I'm going to be hungry. And you guessed it, I am. It's funny because I'm usually pretty strict with like my timing of when I eat stuff. Not strict, but like structured. And so normally I have like my protein bar in the morning when I first wake up. And then around 1, I make my protein lunch, you know, my PB2, all that stuff with the bananas. And then around 3, I'll eat like the little bar, like the bar I just ate now. And then at like 5, I have a snack. And then 7, I'll eat my chicken and rice before the gym. And then around 11, I eat my salad, right? Pretty structured. On streaming days, since I eat this bar now, after I have my protein, it's like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, depending, like 3:30. And I go downstairs, or I go in the pantry wherever I am, and I go to grab that bar every time without fail, because on days I don't stream, I eat that bar after I eat my protein. But like I get so hungry by the time I eat lunch, my brain literally forgets that I already ate the bar. It was just at a different time today. Or that day in general. Like without fail, my stupid brain does that. I go to eat the thing that I'm like, oh wait, no, I actually already ate that. Don't be an idiot. And because I'm weirdly structured, it's not like I can have 2 of them in one day. That's just nonsense. I'm not an animal. But yeah, so I can almost guarantee I'll do that again today. Like, seeing as I've done it almost every time I stream, I very likely am going to go and eat another one of these bars later and stop myself. So in terms of the art, by the way, I was trying just, again, I always try new things, right? I'm trying not to get like completely comfortable with anything right now because I feel like nothing jives anyway. So why not mess around? And so I said today, we're going to use the smudge brush a lot. And the smooth one at that, right? Not a lot of texture, just a really smooth smudge brush, and kind of see what we can do. So I wanted to play with the idea of like maybe using the smudge brush at first, like blocking in shadows and highlights, and then using the smudge brush, and then going in and putting in more direct strokes after the fact. So Will it look good? Don't know. Am I gonna do it? Yup. Trying to be messy with this too, like not too clean, just kind of slapping in these shadows or like the blending. And like there's some spots that look way too intense right now, and I know that. I will get to them later. Like this piece is way too, oh God, iPad. Like this doesn't get broken up here at all. But yeah, in trying to do my schedule for stuff, I think, like I said, I do need to make an effort when I schedule my time for the week. Even if I'm not streaming, I need to be doing art at different intervals throughout the day, because this is, I was doing well with every week doing stuff, and then I'd continue things I started on stream each night and do different things like that, where like now if I only streamed Thursday today, I wasn't like doing art stuff throughout the, like doing this kind of stuff, you know? So I need to make sure this is all still in the rotation of things, not just like, hey, it's not just a Thursday thing that I get to make 2D art. I need to make sure I'm doing it maybe in the mornings still, like as warm-ups myself or something. Like I'll figure out the specifics, but I definitely learning process here of realizing that I should probably, I need to keep it more. But like I said, it's hard when I'm trying to like, you're trying to do like 5 different things, right? And it's hard to spread yourself thin that way. It's easy to have 1 or 2 of the things get lost in the process. Talking about the weather, I am like, it's rainy and dreary today, but I actually didn't look what the weather's supposed to be, so I have no idea if it's supposed to still be raining, if I'm going to be able to go on my normal walk today. As I always say, it makes me nervous. Like part of me doesn't want to check the weather channel at times, because then it becomes real. Oh my gosh, hold on. And he's back. Beautiful. Yeah. What does this look like without? Interesting. All right, let's get back to smudging. I still keep thinking about that Marvel game. I'm so excited for that. Like, that game cannot come soon enough. Like, there aren't that many games nowadays that come out as much for me, for my money, that I immediately will stop what I'm doing and make that the game. Like, I'm going to play it. You know what I mean? Like, that is the thing I'm going to play. And that 1000% is going to be the thing I'm going to play. And what's great is I get to share that type of game, right? Like I can play that with my girlfriend and we will have a blast, I'm sure. And that is what excites me even more, that I get to do it and play the game, period. But being able to share it then is just as fun to me. And I'm very excited to be able to share that experience. And I know, is she going to be as excited about it as me? Absolutely not. Does she have the same affinity for it? Absolutely not. Is she going to be a great sport and really enjoy it with me? I'm sure. Absolutely. Is it going to be fun? You know it. So it's like stuff like that too, where it's like, I don't know, a lot of the games lately I've been playing are very singular experiences, even if they're team games. Like, I've been playing Marvel Rivals by myself. And so getting to share that with her or anybody then is going to be, it's nice. Just makes it, when you're able to share a thing, I feel like it's just better, period. I feel like it's very contrasty, this skin, like the highlights. So I feel like I need to really like shape out with this blending tool right now before I even put more strokes in like this lighter colored skin, because it's way too like white. Like these colors here on the hand, that is way too light of a color. I did way too light of a base color compared to the high or the shadows, I feel like. So I'm gonna need to give extra attention to blending it in then, just so I can kind of make it feel more natural. No, I told you, like I used to have like a pretty consistent thing of chat. I've got a few people who lurk, and that's cool. Lurkers, no worries. I'm glad you guys are here too. But definitely have people who come in, but not too many talkative people since I switched to Tuesday, Thursdays. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had a group pretty consistent where people were pretty talkative, but now this new schedule, I feel like I'm like rebuilding back up people to talk. You know, like it's just been a little less, which is disheartening to an extent, for sure. To, you know, have something and then kind of lose it and have to rebuild it. But new schedules sometimes do that, and I get it. But yeah, no, definitely kind of quiet. Some days that it's like one of those things where some days though I still have like a good amount, but like I said, this new schedule has been messing with engagement for sure. Last couple days have been slow. And yeah, it's, I feel like with a lot of things, it's like ebb and flows of like what else is going on in the world, what else, you know, like there's a lot of things that play a part in all of this. But like I said, at this point, that's why I switched to just doing 1 day a week anyway, because I'm not getting as much engagement out of this, and that's okay. I still like to do this for me for now. And then hopefully when I have more people, then I can get back to maybe doing it a little more, or just, you know, have more people, even if I just do it once a week still then too, with more engagement is the goal. But for now, I still wanted to stream even just for me, like, because it's a good way to make sure I'm at least accountable for practicing some sort of art. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's easy for me to get distracted. I was just talking about it earlier that like I need to make sure I'm drawing more often because I've been lacking on that. And this is at least like a set time that forces me to do this. Especially because, as you know, the video editing stuff, that takes a long time. Like, that kind of stuff is no joke. And the amount of 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 man hours is way more than I expected. For, like I said, longer form stuff like that, it's definitely different. Yeah, like so these videos, yeah, it's weird how I have it set up right now because right now these videos just go straight to YouTube essentially because it's technically live streaming on the Art Academy page. But again, the Art Academy page, I haven't done any of the YouTube content of like the art instructional stuff. So there's nobody there yet. So it's like essentially being recorded just so I have it for later once I start actually having more stuff and have more, traffic there then since since Twitch doesn't necessarily like their VOD stuff kind of sucks. And especially now that Twitch has changed even more their VOD limit and stuff, so it's kind of a mess. So at least on YouTube, it's there for when I can start doing the other educational stuff. But also like so I've done a lot of videos now or done a lot of streaming that have brought up ideas that I'm like, that would actually make a dope like instructional video. Like I've gone over things that make sense to me that will help others. So that's also one of the benefits of streaming is that it gives me ideas for the future that I like have like a running notepad of just like, hey, this is a cool idea for the future. But like I said, right now, struggle one is just getting used to the editing software and used to recording. Like there's one thing streaming, it's different when you record yourself. Like, cause this is chill, just hanging out. But when you actually like set up and you're like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is my script. This is the, it's different. It's all different for sure. I don't even know what those words are that you just said. Rumble and Bichute are hidden traffic sources as well. Don't even know what that is. It's so hidden, I don't even know. Bichute sounds like saying the B word, female dog in French. You bichute. Video upload sites. Huh. What like a YouTube type thing you mean? Like it's like a YouTube type site or okay. Yeah, I've legit never heard of those. Are those like more popular in other countries kind of thing? Because I know like different countries have other. Sorry, someone was just look like they were shadow boxing in on the sidewalk in front of my house because the way the window is, I can see people when they go for walks. And like someone was talking, and then it was like a mom or something. Looked like she just started shadow boxing while she was talking to her kids right there. That was weird. Oh, that's funny. Fighting them demons. New in the last 5 years, but there's no competition. Lots of different niches. I'll have to look into that then. Just again, if it's one of those things where I can just like multi-upload, then anyway, like have two sources. Anyway, might as well. Artwork videos are getting a lot more views than okay. You just grab your YouTube video and description, upload to the site. It literally takes 5 minutes. Damn. Are you seeing any turnover on viewership? Like do you see any like conversion from views there into YouTube or Blue Sky, like follows elsewhere? Or is it just pretty self-contained? I feel like that's one of the problems nowadays is like trying to transfer follows or interest from one platform to another is difficult. Okay, so you still get links to your website though, which is I feel like that's the end goal for you then it seems like. So that makes sense. Some of these lighter peaches are like really too white looking. I'm trying to darken these up a little bit. Way too light. No other promotion besides the Amazon stuff. Gotcha. This is looking, I need to get some more colors in here. I know I talked about having more blues and reds. I'm trying right now to at least like form the shape with my blending to kind of help guide the eye. Still looking weird. Thanks. Yeah, it's some days I have like a set goal of what I feel like streaming and what art I'm gonna make, and then other days I've just kind of been like kind of going with the flow and trying to, do my own little random stuff, and that's kind of where we've been at right now. Like I have multiple pieces I wanted to finish. And something is up with my color picking with you. I need to see what happened with these brushes. Something got messed up where they're not like coming out the color. I must have changed a setting and I don't remember. Um, but I have multiple pieces I wanted to finish, and then I keep just getting distracted or don't have time or this or that. Or I just do stuff like this where I'm like not in the mood to finish a piece or work on like a set character, and I'm like, I'd rather just kind of relax, chill, and do like a little study on my own, like a little bit of anatomy or painting studies and stuff like that. They're just sometimes easier on the mind to do. I couldn't even tell. I'm sure if I go into my library right now, I could see like 15 things I need to finish. But I'm not. This is all on the iPad. So I'm using just the Apple Pencil. So actually, oddly enough, I have in the office. So this is the game room. We've got like office and game room. Here's the game room. Here in the game room, it was never meant to do art. Like when we set up the house, I have the office in there. That's where I worked remotely. I did all my work there. Excuse me. And that's where I actually have the big, it's like the nice uplift standing desk. And that room is decorated almost even more than this one with like all the art on the walls and shelves with figures and different things like that, and more bookshelves. And that's actually where my Cintiq is. So I actually have I think it's a 27 QHD in there. A really nice Cintiq. I think it was like $2,800. And then with the Ergo stand, it was like, like a $3,000 piece of equipment when I had gotten it. But it doesn't fit in the game room. So it just exists in there. And there is where, or here is where I have the camera and the lighting and the microphone and stuff. That one was just strictly to do my work before. And so it transitioned weird now where it's like, well, crap, the better equipment is in there. And so what I ended up doing was looking at my iPad that I used to always use anyway. I like to draw on the iPad for like, little things. And I was like, you know what? I think I'll have to kind of transition and maybe I just work on the iPad on stream. And so I got it set up so I can capture the iPad. And I just got a new stand kind of here that I can just easily grab the iPad, do some drawing here, and just leave it at that. It is very weird though. It took a while to get used to, like, using just the iPad in this room rather than knowing full well when you have like much nicer tailored equipment. And then that means I have to use Procreate, which Procreate's a good app, don't get me wrong, but it definitely has its shortcomings. And so it's like, I feel like I'm like limited in what I do when I do this kind of stuff too. Just because they don't have, I've complained about it a lot, but like their layer structure is kind of weird. Their masking sucks. They have no good gradient tools. You can't like nicely select and work with like, it's just, yeah, the software is not as nice as I'd like it to be, but that's okay. I've gotten used to its shortcomings kind of, and I just kind of go with it. But yeah, eventually talking about like future proofing stuff, that would be the extreme goal, that like I could have both rooms set up both for recording and making art and streaming and all that kind of stuff too, because they're both really cool backdrops too. Like for content, like it's a cool backdrop, like a setting to film in even in general. I worked really hard to make it look really cool in there, but now it's not very used, unfortunately, and the computer in there is not as good. The Cintiq is great, but it's the lesser computer in there and the better computers in here. So it's a weird mess. It is a mess of stuff at the moment. That doesn't really make sense, but we do what we do and you work with what you got, and that's what this is. Working with the iPad like this. And it is nice then because I can just take the iPad and finish what I'm drawing, go downstairs and just kind of do that. Like I don't have to be engaged up here at all. I can just take the iPad downstairs, plop it out of this thing, and keep at it. But yeah, so nothing too extreme. Like literally, this is an old iPad, which is why I'll complain sometimes, because this is an older iPad Pro from like, I don't even know how old this is now at this point. It's a while ago. And the Apple Pencil Pro. That's it. Nothing crazy. And then like, what is this? Procreate's like a $10 app, $15 app. Like, not that it's not a great app. Cost doesn't denote value of the app. Like it's a valuable app for sure. But just saying, it's like comical when you have so much stuff elsewhere and like professional grade things and all that. And I'm like, yeah, but here's an iPad on the desk where I play video games. Is this cool? Like, I guess this works. Again, mainly because it's the idea is I don't want to put in money into a thing if it's not worth it, right? Like, I don't know if this is worth it yet. I'm not going to waste money on a thing like that until there's proven track record for it to be worth the investment to shift stuff around, So until then, iPad it is. I've even looked at getting a new iPad then at times. I'm like, until this one dies. Like you can't see it on screen because it's not the actual input, it's the screen itself. The screen itself has like these like little lines over it when you stop and pay attention, like the little rainbow lines that the screen's dying. Like it's jank as hell. Which I've gotten used to though. At first it was distracting, very distracting having those lines, like this weird problems with the screen on the iPad, but like with most things, you get used to it. His neck is looking weird. And so it's already Thursday. Crap. Yeah, which obviously since I'm only streaming on Thursdays now, but like I think this is the one of the last weekends. So I feel like the holidays happened and every weekend was busy. And then it hits that point where like we don't have much going on the weekends. We had a few things last weekend, and then I think this is like the last weekend where we don't have a lot going on, and then it's like thing after thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. You know, like one of those things where it's like, oh crap, we've got the busy weekends coming up where we'll have, again, not that they're bad busy, but just like, you know, you have obligations and people to see and things to do. You know, like there's just more to it. Whereas this weekend, I'm trying to think of, I think she's got a girlfriend's got a haircut, like a hair appointment. And that's like the only thing I think we actually have on the docket, which sounds, I don't know. I'm fine with that. Like, especially knowing we've got more going on later. I'm like, yeah, that's cool with me. I'm fine. Not doing much. I'll have time to actually play some games we can catch up on. We're behind on different shows. Like I said, we don't watch a lot. So it's like, yeah, maybe we can squeeze some shows in. The weather's nice. We can actually get outside. Are you a big weekend person? If you're more introverted, I'm assuming not like you're going out doing anything crazy, but any weekend routines that you do? And just add some more of these reds, these more richer reds in some of this, because I feel like it's getting very desaturated in a gross way. Super basic strokes to fill in the heavier shadows here. Wow. What does it look like when I turn off the lines now? Looking like, oh gosh, there's that completely. This always looks so weird when I'm like in my head looking at the lines so distinctly, and then you're like, yeah, that's a something happening there. That's a thing, all right. Like I said, this is a new way of doing it for me. I normally am not. If I'm using, like I said, using more of a PC app, I like to do color picking a lot more. Whereas on Procreate, color picking sucks. You can't like paint by color picking as easily. And so I feel like you have to resort to more smudginess to get that across. And so I've been trying to like just play with different smudging and stuff in this app. And this is like the most basic smudge ever. And I was like, you know what? I usually use like a textured smudge. What if I just play around today with just nothing but like this super, super duper generic smudge brush and see how that reads. It depends. So these are sketchy lines. So depending, like, since this is just a figure study thing, I usually don't think what I'm gonna do because I'm not trying to think of it as like a piece that I'm like, ooh, I like to post this, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of for me, the process, you know? Um, what I try and do normally then would be like either use the sketchy lines and incorporate them underneath somehow and like drop opacity and put the color on top and do stuff. But normally what I'll do is I'll like, if we look at old pieces, I don't know, like I usually have relatively cleaner line work. Like I like, I don't know, just like basic line work I'll put on over stuff, or like this one that I just did. I'll like do stuff like that where it's like just the color of the shape kind of as like a basic line work to it. Usually the sketchiness doesn't stay unless it's like I'm leaning into it, like something like this one where it's like, oh, this is supposed to be sketchy. It all just depends. I'm not one that's like beholden to like a set style. I change stuff all the time. Like I just do what I feel like, which probably that's why I'm like, I feel like I need to kind of get a little bit more cohesive with how I draw, just because it's harder to, I feel like it's harder to tell someone's style, like who it is, if they don't have like a distinct consistency to them, which isn't a bad thing that I don't, but it's also, I feel like we talked about like marketability and stuff like that. I think that's comes into part of it too then. Like I feel like I'm just kind of, I'm all over the place, which I enjoy, but also should probably start hammering in a bit. But I feel like the way I make bodies and the way I do characters are still like the vibe is the same, but the way I render them differs, if that makes sense. I just like to learn. I like to practice. I like to, you know, like I like the idea of just being like, yeah, 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 let me try something different today. Especially on stream, because then it's like, hey, I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I'm just trying to learn along chatting, learning and chatting, you know? Kind of a win-win. Man, speaking of like this weekend and catching up on stuff, we're usually behind on TV shows very regularly. But I try, if it's a show like we're genuinely really engaged in, I try and make sure we can keep up, right? So that show this time is Daredevil for us. The one on Disney. The continuation of the one that was originally on Netflix. And it's hard because obviously there's so many spoilers nowadays on the internet, and it's hard to keep up with TV shows if they're going to be, you know. But so Tuesdays are when that show goes live, and it's perfect because my girlfriend and I normally watch television together weekdays on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. But that's like our time that we eat together and watch together. And so we've been watching Daredevil every Tuesday, and I look forward to it. It's fun. It's really good. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend. But I was super annoyed because this Tuesday we finished the episode, but there was another episode. They didn't I didn't know that this time they put two out this Tuesday. And I was like, "Son of a gun, I'm trying to keep up." And I thought I was keeping up. But apparently now I'm still behind, even though I thought I was keeping up with this, you know, the timeline. I was like, cool, we watched the episode. And it was like, watch the next one. I was like, no, there is no next one. That's next week. So hopefully we can watch it tonight. Been trying to stay spoiler free, but it's the internet. They spoil everything. it's hard sometimes with like when you really like something to not have it spoiled. Like especially Disney nowadays, Disney will like literally post a spoiler as a promotion for the show sometimes. I'm like, can you not do that, please? Like, I really don't like that. Not a fan. I didn't get to watch it yet. Right? I feel like I have to, because like even at times then when I like actively think I'm not on a way that would see like I'm not using an app that I think would have a spoiler or this or that, suddenly boom, there's still a spoiler. I'm like, how I give up. Like it's one of these things where I know it's inevitable. It's like do your best, but know you're probably gonna fail. That's usually what happens. Hard to hide under rock when I'm trying to be more engaged too. Like you said, like it helps being like more engaged in communities and stuff like that. So I've been trying to be a little bit more like that. Oops, wrong undos. But so that means I'm on social media or different things where I'm like, crap, I didn't want to see that though. Leave me alone. But again, hopefully, if timing goes well, we'll at least get to watch that tonight. It's hard because like the timing when so she'll come home by like 7, but then we eat around right when she gets home, and then we like relax for a little bit, catch up on the day, and then go to the gym. And then by the time we get home from the gym and we go to shower and do all that, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well now it's almost 11, right? Like it's already gotten pretty late, and now we're getting food together to have. I joke we have like first dinner and second dinner, like kind of Lord of the Rings style, like hobbits, where it's first, this is second breakfast because we have like pre-workout meal and then like nighttime meal kind of is our thing. And so if it's a longer episode and we're a little behind schedule, she needs to be in bed by midnight. And so I have to be super conscious of like, well, crap, we're a little behind schedule. We can't watch an hour, right? We can't watch an hour show if we only have 35 minutes before you need to get ready for bed. Like, so it's always like ooh, I hope we make it. Like, I hope we can squeeze in the show. But it just depends on how the rest of the timing for the night goes. So we never speak in absolutes because there's always some sort of variable that affects it, you know? That said, I'm going to try real hard though. I'm usually like, some days you're more lax with stuff because you don't have necessarily the pressure of it. But on a day like this where I'm like, crap, I really want to see this damn show, so it's not spoiled, I'm like, I'm going to be making sure I'm like, hey, time to go. We got to go to the gym. Got to go. Got to go. Got to go. Got to squeeze in the time. Some of these blues have gotten like really gray looking. I don't like it. It's kind of ugly. That's okay. Oh well. Again, that's the beauty of doing this kind of stuff where I'm like, well, I'm not trying to make a thing that's going to be, you know, like, oh my gosh, oh man, talk about, can you see what's going on with my brush right now? Holy, talk about the issues I've been having with my iPad. This old thing just things will happen like that where I'm like, I don't even know what just happened there. Why is the brush doing the thing it's doing? I don't know. The touch features gets really borked too lately with this poor iPad. Like really borked. It'll just get like super hung up and spin around. Oh well. New iPads are expensive. And I don't need them right now. Yeah, the cost of iPads are bonkers. Like I get they do so much, but man, is it pricey. Like holy cow, is that an expensive endeavor to get new iPads. A new iPad means like not only is it the new iPad, but then I have to get the new Apple Pencil that comes along with it, right? And then I'd want a new case to go with it for travel. And then the sketchboard that I use here that I plug it into so I can actually like stream and use it at my desk. I would need a new adapter for that. And it's like, it's not just, and then I use the Paper-like screen protector. So it's like, well, then I need a new Paper-like. And this, it's like, holy crap, even the already expensive iPad becomes far more expensive with all of the secondary purchases you need to make to accompany it. And I'm like, ooh, no thanks. No, thank you. I'm a big believer in I use it till I can't use it anymore with most things. Like, do I need a new one yet? Nah, I'll make this work still. Which is both good and bad with certain things. It's like, hey man, you should probably get rid of those jeans. They look like shit. Nah, I can still use them. I've gotten like I have clothes now that are like, yeah, those are the I don't go out in public in those clothes, but I can wear them at home. It's fine. I don't look like a super ragamuffin because no one can see me. Oh no. Did that pop up on your okay, yeah, the low power mode. That's the one downside of using the iPad, unfortunately. And streaming. If I'm on the Cintiq, I can draw indefinitely. I mean, more or less, right? Because obviously you're connected to a PC. But the iPad actually has a time limit then. I can only stream for so long because the iPad's battery is finite. And since I'm actually connected via the USB to the computer to, get the display up here, I can't charge it then. I can't charge the iPad and use it at the same time. So I'm beholden to the battery itself. So I guess some days I feel like it goes a little drains faster than others. I don't know. It drains way faster though when I'm streaming. Like if I were to be just drawing at like downstairs just on the couch or something, it wouldn't drain as fast as it is now. It's because it's also outputting the video signal, I'm guessing, is why it drains a good chunk faster, which is understandable but annoying given the context of like, don't tell me what to do. It tells me when I'm done, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that means I've got like 10 minutes left before I have to wrap it up, which is fine because 2:30 is around when I usually plan on getting off, but annoying, like we talked about before with the software thing of like, don't tell me when and what I can do. I want to make the call. Again, very different than if you were to have told like 20 years ago, Britain, like, hey, you'll be drawing on a weird screen that has battery life and you can't do it all the time. I'd be like, yeah, but paper is all the time. Why wouldn't I just do it on paper? Like, you know what I mean? Like, my brain then would just not comprehend, like, yeah, I don't get that. We have paper. I'm fine. Oh, Britain, how things have changed. I feel like his left lat is just way too right still. Need to wrap it around a little bit more, that color. Just wrap it around. Think of, I'm a Adam Sandler fan. Just tap it in from Happy Gilmore. Okay, that darkened it up a little bit. It was just feeling way too prominent of a color, way too light. Especially for where it was, like that was way too, like it shouldn't be getting that much of a highlight. I can always course correct and put a little bit in now. Oh, there was a case of the iPad being weird. I don't even know what just happened there, why it zoomed in. It's got a mind of its own. So after all is said and done here with these colors, now I'm just wanting to go in. Just since apparently I only have like 5 minutes left to draw on this at the moment. Just go in and add a little bit more variability in color for the skin here. Just adding little hints of blues. I'll add a couple hints of reds and stuff just on just a couple little spots to feel more lifelike. Usually over extreme it for the sake of digital art and practice, just to kind of crank it to 11 energy. I always, because again, no one tells me no. It is weirdly freeing. So working in studios and you've got, you know, your art director and all these things, there's something weirdly freeing about streaming and just being like, yep, I'm doing a thing. What up? Like, I don't need to have anybody look over this. I don't have my art director telling me it needs to change. I don't have this. I don't have that. I'm just practicing and doing some drawing, man. What are you gonna do about it? It's weirdly satisfying in that sense to not necessarily be beholden to anything, really. Do some reds. Yeah, that looks fine. A little pinkish. It is fun. It's like when you're like, when I'm on stream and like the battery is almost dead, my brain kind of goes back to like young Britton and like, you know, when you're like finishing a project for school and you're like, crap. Like when you're doing it before class or something. And I'm like, crap. I got to get to class in 10 minutes. I need to at least have something done. And I'm like trying to pump it out. Like it's that energy that I feel when I'm like, I'm just slapping things on just for color, for fun. I don't even know if this looks good. It totally does look like he's got a giant brain since I didn't color the hair at all and I was just focusing on the skin. That's hilarious. I didn't even look at it that way. That is just big old brain. We'll color it pink then. We'll make a little brain. That's his brain. Exposed. Really quick. Just we'll give it some weird little contours. And even I'm just squigglies. Just squiggly little bits for the brain. 5%. Oh, it's getting serious. There's this. Yeah, I don't know what I just did there. That's fine. But since apparently my iPad's yelling at me that it needs to be kaput, I think this is as good a time as any to probably just. It's weird talking about how you've mentioned like the self-promotion and stuff like that. Like, it's weird that when I'm done drawing, I have to like be like, oh, I need a thumbnail for this Twitch stream or this YouTube stream. You know what I mean? And it's like, let me just make it look like there was something we did. And then for the life of me, I've been doing this since, is this 3 months now I've been doing this? I still forget which angle, since I have the camera inverted so you can read the text on stuff behind me. I always forget which way is the camera. So this is the camera. Yeah, that's what I usually do. I just take a screenshot of this. Because I have it recording, so I'll just take a screenshot, slap it on, done. Good, excuse me, good enough for now. Eventually I was going to do like have some sort of framing to them that I just like overlay on everything. But again, since I don't have like the following to justify the time to do that right now, I've been trying to put my focus elsewhere. But I was trying to hold something stupid. What do I have to hold? I don't have anything sitting around me today. I'm just gonna give a thumbs up. What do I do? I don't know. Yeah, okay. There's my thumbnail with a thumb. But yeah, I think that's about time to call it. The iPad is yelling at me, so I'm sure it'll auto shut off in just a minute. But yeah, like I said, I have not had a lot of chatters the past 2 weeks or so I do appreciate you sticking around this whole time. It's been fun. I enjoyed chatting. I guess I never asked. I'm assuming you're on Blue Sky, so comment on my on the post that I went live, and I'll come check out all the stuff and all your guys' work that you've been doing too. I'll check that when I hop off a stream when I'm eating lunch then and take a peek at everything. But oh, perfect, even better. Oh yeah, you told me your engagement way. I know your tricks. I should have known. But yeah, I'll be back Thursday and probably have a little bit more structure next week rather than just randomly doing some studies here. But until next week, hope you have a good weekend, and until then, be kind and kick butt.